The night is quiet. The air feels still, as if the world itself has decided to rest. Somewhere far away, a slow river moves through the darkness. It does not rush, it does not hurry. It simply continues, as it always has, soft and steady. This is where the story begins, not with noise or excitement, but with something much calmer, something much slower. A river, the Nile. It stretches gently through a long ribbon of land, surrounded on both sides by wide, silent deserts. The sand beyond it is pale and endless, but along the water's edge, life settles in quietly. The land here is soft and dark. It is rich with moisture. When touched, it holds the shape of a hand for a moment, before slowly relaxing again. In this place, people wake early, not because they must rush, but because the sun rises slowly, and the light grows warm long before it becomes bright. A man opens his eyes in a small home made of mud bricks. The walls are cool from the night air. The roof above him is flat, simple, and quiet. There are no sudden sounds, no sharp interruptions, only the faint stirring of morning. He does not move quickly. He sits up slowly, letting the stillness linger. Outside, the sky is pale blue, just beginning to soften with gold. The Nile is nearby, though he cannot see it from where he sits. He knows it is there. It is always there, moving, breathing, rising and falling in its own time. This is how life unfolds here, not fast, not loud, but steady, always steady. In ancient Egypt, most days felt very much like the one before, and the one before that. There were no sudden changes, no unexpected surprises, only patterns, gentle, repeating patterns. And within those patterns, people found something that is easy to miss when looking back across history. They found calm, they found rhythm, they found a kind of quiet life that to modern eyes might seem surprisingly boring. But boring in this way was not empty. It was full of small, simple things. The sound of water touching the shore, the feeling of warm earth under bare feet, the slow preparation of bread in the early morning, the steady brushing of grain between hands, the soft murmur of voices that did not need to be loud. These were the moments that filled their days, and their days were long, not because of work or worry, but because time itself moved differently. The river decided the pace of life. Each year it rose, each year it fell, and in between everything happened. The man stands now. He steps outside his home and feels the ground beneath him, still cool from the night. In the distance, a few others are awake. They move slowly, as he does. No one rushes. There is nowhere urgent to be. The fields wait. The water waits. Even the sun seems to take its time. A soft breeze passes through the village, carrying with it the faint scent of damp soil and reeds. It is a familiar scent, one that has been the same for generations. Children stir nearby. A woman kneels near a low stone surface, grinding grain with a steady motion, back and forth, back and forth. The sound is quiet, almost like a whisper. It is not a task that needs speed. It is a task that belongs to the morning. And so it continues, slowly, without change. In ancient Egypt, this kind of repetition was not unusual. It was expected. It was comforting. Every day followed a shape that people understood without thinking. Wake with the light, work with the warmth, rest when the sun begins to fall. There was no need to wonder what tomorrow might bring. Tomorrow would be much the same. And for many, that was enough. The Nile begins to glow as the sun rises higher. Its surface reflects the light in soft, shifting patterns. It does not sparkle sharply. It glows gently, like something breathing. Boats move across it at an unhurried pace. Long, narrow boats made of wood, guided by steady hands. The men inside them do not speak much. They do not need to. They know where they are going. They have gone there many times before. Fishing nets are lowered into the water, not thrown, lowered, carefully, as if the river itself deserves patience. And perhaps it does, because everything here depends on it. The crops, the animals, the people, even the homes made from the mud left behind when the river retreats. Without the Nile, there would be nothing here but dry sand and silence. But with it, there is life, a quiet, steady life. As the morning continues, the village becomes a little more active, not busy, just awake. Men walk toward the fields carrying simple tools, wooden handles, stone blades, nothing sharp or shining, just what is needed. They do not speak loudly. Their voices remain low, as if they are careful not to disturb the calm that surrounds them. In the fields, the soil is soft. It yields easily under their feet. They begin their work without urgency. There is no rush to finish. There is only the need to continue. Planting, watering, tending. These are not tasks with sudden endings. They are part of a cycle, a slow cycle, one that repeats itself again and again, year after year. And so the work begins, just as it always has, and just as it always will. The sun climbs higher, the warmth spreads across the land, and the day settles into its gentle rhythm. A rhythm that to some might feel uneventful, but to those who lived it, it was simply life, steady, predictable, quiet. And in that quiet, there was a kind of peace that is easy to overlook. Because nothing dramatic happens here, no sudden changes, no loud moments, only the passing of time, slow and soft, like the river itself. And so the day continues, unfolding gently, without hurry, without noise, just as it has for generations, and just as it will again tomorrow. The morning grows a little warmer. The light, once soft and pale, now settles across the earth with a steady glow. Shadows shorten. The air begins to carry the gentle weight of heat, though it is not uncomfortable, not yet. In the fields, the work continues without interruption. There is no signal to begin, no bell, no command, only habit, only the quiet understanding that this is what the day is for. A man bends slightly as he presses seeds into the soil. His hands move slowly, carefully. Each motion is the same as the one before it. He does not need to think about it anymore. His body remembers. Nearby, another man guides a simple wooden tool through the earth, loosening it just enough for the next step. The sound is soft, a faint scraping. It blends into the air, becoming part of the background, like the breeze or the distant water. No one hurries. The sun will take its time crossing the sky, and so will they. From time to time, someone pauses, not because they are tired, but because there is no reason not to pause. They straighten their backs, look out across the fields, and simply stand for a moment. The land stretches gently outward, green and dark near the river, fading into lighter tones as it reaches toward the desert. Beyond that, there is only stillness, a stillness that feels endless. But here, near the Nile, life continues in small, steady ways. The river has already done most of the work. Months earlier, it rose slowly, quietly spilling over its banks. The water moved into the fields, covering the earth in a calm, patient flood. It did not rush or crash. It simply spread, carrying with it fine, dark silt. When the water returned to its place, it left behind something valuable. Soft soil, rich soil, soil that makes growing things easier. This happens every year, not sometimes, not occasionally, every year. And because of this, the people do not worry the way others might. They do not wait anxiously for rain. They do not wonder if the land will provide. The river has already answered that question. And so their work is not urgent. It is not filled with uncertainty. It is simply part of the cycle, a cycle they trust. As the sun rises higher, the sounds of the village drift gently toward the fields. The grinding of grain continues, the soft voices of women speaking to one another, never loud, never hurried. Children move slowly between the houses, their steps unsteady but calm. They do not run far. There is no need. Everything they need is close. A small animal wanders nearby, stopping now and then to graze. It is not watched closely. It does not need to be. It knows where it belongs. Nothing here feels out of place. Nothing feels rushed. Even time itself seems to move in a wide, slow circle rather than a straight line. In the distance, along the edge of the Nile, a fisherman checks his net. He lifts it carefully. Water drips back into the river in thin, quiet streams. The fish inside move only slightly, their motion gentle, almost reluctant. The fisherman does not react quickly. He takes his time removing them, placing them into a woven container beside him. This is not a moment of excitement. It is simply another part of the day, another small expected result of patient work. He lowers the net again, slowly, always slowly. The river continues its quiet movement, unchanged. Back in the fields, the sun now rests high enough to warm the earth fully. The heat is steady, but it does not press too hard. A light breeze moves through from time to time, softening it, carrying with it the scent of water and growing plants. The workers pause more often now. Not all at once, just one, then another. Each person finds a moment to step back, to sit, to drink a little water stored in a simple clay jar. The water is cool, not cold, just cool enough to feel refreshing. They drink without hurry, then return to their work as if nothing has changed, because nothing has. The rhythm continues. It does not break. It does not speed up. It simply flows, like the Nile. Above them, the sky remains clear, a wide, open blue that stretches without interruption. There are no sudden storms here, no unexpected changes in weather. The seasons come and go, but they do so gently. Everything here feels predictable, and in that predictability there is a quiet comfort, a sense that tomorrow will arrive in the same way today did, slowly, softly, without surprise. As the day moves forward, the shadows begin to shift again, stretching slightly as the sun prepares its long descent. But there is no rush to finish. The work will continue tomorrow, and the next day, and the next. There is no final moment, no clear ending, only continuation. A man presses the last few seeds into the soil for now. He stands, brushing the dust gently from his hands. He looks across the field, not to measure progress, but simply to observe. Everything looks as it should. Nothing more is needed. He turns and begins to walk back toward the village. Others do the same, not together, not in a group, just one by one, each at their own pace. Their footsteps are soft against the earth. The air begins to cool just slightly. The light softens again, losing some of its brightness and returning to something gentler. In the village, preparations for the evening begin quietly. A fire is lit, not large, not bright, just enough. The smell of baking bread rises slowly into the air, warm and familiar. Voices remain calm, movements remain slow. Children grow quieter, their energy fading with the light. The river continues, unchanged, always there, always moving, always the same. And as the day begins to settle into evening, there is no feeling of something ending, only the sense that one gentle moment is becoming another, that the rhythm has not stopped, it has only shifted, and it will continue, just as it always has, just as it always will. The light begins to fade in a quiet, unhurried way. It does not disappear all at once. It lingers, stretching across the earth in long, soft shadows that slowly grow deeper. The warmth of the day loosens its hold, and the air becomes gentle again. In the village, movement becomes even slower. There is no clear moment when work ends and rest begins. The two simply blend together, like the colors of the sky as the sun lowers itself toward the horizon. A woman turns a flat piece of bread over a small fire. The flame is low, steady, almost quiet. It does not crackle loudly. It only glows, sending up a thin line of smoke that drifts into the evening air. The smell is warm and simple, grain and heat, nothing more. She does not rush. She presses the bread lightly, waits, then turns it again. The motion repeats, just as it has many times before. Nearby, a child sits close to the ground, tracing slow shapes in the dust with a finger. There is no pattern that needs to be followed, no goal to reach, only the quiet movement of hand over soft earth. The marks will not last. A breeze will come, or a footstep will pass, and they will disappear. But that does not matter. Nothing here needs to last forever. The Nile continues its soft movement, reflecting the changing sky. The blue fades into a muted gold, then into a deeper shade that leans gently toward orange. The surface of the water holds these colors for a while, then slowly releases them as the light shifts again. A boat drifts near the edge of the river. It is no longer moving with purpose. It simply rests. The man inside it adjusts his position slightly, then becomes still. There is nothing left to do for today. He watches the water. Or perhaps he is not watching anything at all. Perhaps he is simply sitting, letting the moment pass as it will. In ancient Egypt, moments like this were common. Not moments of action, but moments of stillness. Moments where nothing needed to happen, and so nothing did. The sky continues to darken. The first hint of evening settles over the land like a soft cloth. The air cools just enough to be noticed, but not enough to disturb the comfort of the day. People gather near their homes, sitting close but not crowded. They speak quietly, their voices low and even. There are no loud stories, No sudden laughter, only gentle conversation, moving slowly from one thought to another. Some words are repeated, some stories are told again, just as they were before, and no one seems to mind, because repetition is not something to avoid here. It is something to trust. The same words, the same stories, the same quiet patterns, they create a sense of steadiness, a feeling that everything is as it should be. A man tears a piece of bread and eats slowly. He does not take large bites. He does not rush to finish. He simply eats, tasting the simple flavor, letting it last. Food here is not complicated. It does not need to be. Grain, water, sometimes fish, sometimes small vegetables grown near the river. Each meal is similar to the last, and yet it is enough. As the sun slips lower, the light becomes softer still. It no longer fills the land. It rests lightly upon it. Then, slowly, it begins to leave. The horizon holds on to it for a moment, glowing faintly, before letting it go. And then there is evening, not sudden, not dramatic, just a quiet change. The sky deepens into blue, then darker blue, then something close to black. Small points of light begin to appear, one by one. The stars. They are steady, unmoving, familiar, just like everything else. The people of the village notice them, but not with surprise. They have always been there, every night, in the same places, returning again and again, just like the river, just like the days. A child leans against a parent, eyes growing heavy. The sounds of the village grow softer still. Voices fade, movements slow. Even the fire burns lower now, its light dim and warm. The smell of smoke lingers, mixing with the coolness of the night air. A gentle breeze passes through once more, carrying with it the quiet presence of the Nile. The river does not sleep. It continues always, but its sound is soft enough to blend into the silence. Homes become still. One by one, people settle into rest. They lie down on simple surfaces, surrounded by the quiet familiarity of their space. There are no sudden thoughts of tomorrow, no long lists of things to do. Tomorrow will come, just as today did, with the same light, the same work, the same rhythm. And so there is nothing to worry about, nothing to prepare, only rest. The night deepens. The stars fill more of the sky. The land cools gently, and everything becomes quiet. Not empty, just quiet. A soft, steady quiet that wraps around the village, around the river, around the earth itself. And in that quiet, the world continues, slowly, gently, unchanged, just as it has for countless nights before, and just as it will again. The night passes without disturbance. There are no sudden sounds, no sharp interruptions, only the slow turning of time, almost unnoticed as darkness gradually softens at its edges. The stars begin to fade, not all at once, but one by one. Their steady light grows faint as the sky shifts gently from deep black to a softer shade of blue. The Nile continues its quiet movement. It does not pause for night or day. It does not change its rhythm. It simply flows as it always has, carrying with it the calm presence that shapes everything around it. Along its banks, the earth rests in stillness. The village is silent. Homes remain quiet, their mud-brick walls holding the coolness of the night. Inside, people sleep without urgency, without the weight of time pressing on them. And then, slowly, Morning begins again, not with a sudden brightness, not with noise, but with a gradual return of light. It spreads softly across the horizon, a pale glow that gently replaces the darkness. The air begins to warm just slightly, though the coolness still lingers. A bird makes a quiet sound, then another. Small, simple notes that drift through the still air, not loud enough to disturb, only enough to remind the world that a new day has begun. Inside one of the homes, a man opens his eyes. He does not rise immediately. He remains still for a moment, letting the quiet of the morning settle around him. There is no rush. There is no need to hurry. The day will unfold as it always does, slowly. He sits up, placing his feet gently on the earth. The surface is cool, smooth in some places, slightly uneven in others, familiar. Everything here is familiar. He steps outside. The sky is lighter now, though the sun has not fully risen. The village is beginning to stir, but only just. A woman kneels near a stone surface, already preparing grain. The steady motion begins again, just as it did yesterday. Back and forth, back and forth. The sound is soft, almost blending into the air. A child moves nearby, still quiet, still slow. There is no sudden burst of energy, no rush into the day. Morning here does not demand attention. It simply arrives. The Nile reflects the early light, its surface smooth and calm. A thin layer of mist hovers just above it, barely visible, drifting slowly before fading away. A fisherman approaches the water's edge. His steps are measured. He carries his net without effort, placing it down gently before preparing it for use. This too is the same as before. Nothing changes. Nothing needs to. The river rises and falls in its own time, and the people follow that rhythm without question. As the sun begins to lift above the horizon, the light grows warmer. It touches the tops of the homes first, then spreads downward, filling the spaces between them. The earth begins to lose its coolness, though it does so slowly. In the fields, the first figures begin to appear again. They walk the same paths. They carry the same tools. Their movements are neither fast nor slow, but steady, always steady. The work resumes, not as something new, but as a continuation. There is no clear beginning, only the sense that yesterday has quietly become today. A man presses his foot into the soil, testing its softness. It responds as expected. He nods slightly, though no one is watching. There is comfort in knowing that things remain the same, that the earth still holds its moisture, that the river still provides, that the cycle continues without interruption. Nearby, another man adjusts a simple irrigation channel, guiding a thin stream of water toward a section of the field. The water moves slowly, following the shape of the earth, filling small spaces, soaking gently into the soil. It does not rush. It does not spill wildly. It moves with patience, just as everything here does. The sun climbs a little higher. The village becomes more awake. But even now there is no sense of urgency, no feeling of being late. Time here does not press forward. It unfolds, softly, without demand. A group of workers pause for a moment, standing together but not speaking much. They look out across the land, not searching for anything, simply observing. The fields stretch outward in quiet order.
The river moves beside them, unchanged. Beyond that, the desert remains still, silent, untouched. It does not move. It does not grow. It simply exists, a reminder of what lies beyond this narrow band of life. And yet it does not feel threatening. It feels distant, separate, as if it belongs to another world entirely. Here, along the Nile, everything feels contained. Everything feels known. The work continues. Hands move through soil. Water flows through small channels. Seeds are placed, covered, and left to rest. There is no need to check them constantly. They will grow in their own time, just as they always have, just as they always will. The sounds of the morning settle into a gentle pattern, the soft scrape of tools, the quiet movement of water, the low murmur of voices. None of it rises above the others. None of it demands attention. It all blends together into something calm, something steady, something that repeats again and again. And in that repetition, there is no boredom for those who live it, only familiarity, only the quiet understanding that this is how life is meant to be. Simple, predictable, unhurried. The sun continues its slow climb, the warmth grows, and the day once again begins to take its familiar shape, just as it did before, just as it will again, without change, without surprise, only the gentle passing of time carried forward by the river that never stops and never needs to.
As the morning settles fully into day, the light becomes steady. It no longer shifts in soft gradients. It simply rests across the land, even and calm, touching everything without urgency. The sky above remains clear, wide, and open, with no sign of change. In the fields, the work continues as it always does. There is no moment when it feels complete, no clear point where one task ends and another begins. Everything blends together. A man reaches down, pressing soil gently around a newly planted seed. His fingers move slowly, shaping the earth with care. He does not check his progress. He does not measure how much has been done. He simply continues. Nearby, another worker carries a small bundle of reeds, placing them in a simple structure meant to guide water or mark a boundary. The reeds are light, dry, and familiar to the touch. Nothing here feels new. Nothing feels unexpected. Even the smallest details carry a sense of repetition, as though they have existed in this exact form for a very long time. The breeze passes again, soft and quiet. It moves across the fields, brushing against the crops, causing them to sway slightly. The movement is gentle, almost slow enough to go unnoticed. But it is there, always there, a constant presence, just like the river. The Nile continues its steady flow, unchanged by the passing of hours. Its surface reflects the strong light of the sun now, but even that reflection is soft, never harsh. At the water's edge, the fisherman returns to his net. He lifts it once more. The motion is the same, careful, unhurried. Water slips through the woven fibers, falling back into the river in thin, quiet lines. The fish inside move faintly, their energy calm, almost subdued. The fisherman removes them one by one. There is no excitement in the moment, no surprise, only the quiet completion of a task that has been done many times before. He places the fish into a container, then lowers the net again. The cycle repeats. In the village, the rhythm of daily life continues without change. The grinding of grain persists, steady and soft. The sound has become part of the environment, blending into the air so completely that it no longer stands out. A woman pauses for a moment, wiping her hands lightly before continuing again. Back and forth, back and forth. The motion does not need to be thought about. It exists on its own. Children move slowly through the spaces between homes. They do not run far. They do not shout. Their movements are quiet, their voices soft. Even their play feels calm. A small group sits together, arranging simple objects in the dust. There is no competition, no urgency, only the gentle passing of time. The sun remains high. The warmth is steady now, resting across the earth like a soft weight. It does not press too hard, but it is always present. People adjust to it without thinking. They move into the shade when needed. They pause when it feels right. There is no strict pattern to these pauses, only instinct, only the quiet understanding of the body. A man steps away from the field, walking slowly toward a shaded area near a tree. The tree is not large, but it provides enough shelter from the direct light. He sits, not heavily, not with exhaustion, just gently, as if the act of sitting is simply another part of the day. He drinks a small amount of water from a clay vessel. The water is still cool. It has been kept in the shade, protected from the heat. He takes a few slow sips, then rests the container beside him. For a moment he does nothing. He looks out across the land, though his gaze does not focus on anything specific. There is no need to think ahead, no need to plan. The day is already shaped. It will continue as it always does. After a while, he stands again. He returns to the field, and the work resumes. No announcement, no signal, just continuation. This is how time moves here, not in clear steps, but in a soft, endless flow. Moments do not stand apart from one another. They blend together. Morning becomes midday. Midday becomes afternoon, without clear borders, without sharp transitions. And within that flow, life remains steady, unchanging. The sounds remain the same, the movements remain the same. Even the thoughts of the people seem to follow familiar paths, shaped by years of repetition. There is no sense of being rushed forward, no feeling that time is slipping away. Instead, there is a quiet sense that time is always present, always enough. The Nile continues as it always has. Its waters move past the village, past the fields, carrying with them the same quiet energy. It does not pause, but it does not hurry either. It simply exists, a constant presence, a steady guide. As the sun begins very slowly to lower itself once again, the light softens just slightly. The change is almost unnoticeable, but it is there, a subtle shift, a gentle reminder that the day will once again move toward evening. And when it does, nothing dramatic will happen. The work will not suddenly stop. The world will not change. Only the light will fade. Only the air will cool. And the same quiet rhythm will continue, just as it always has, without interruption, without surprise. Only the steady passing of one moment into the next. Endless, calm, and deeply, quietly the same.
The afternoon arrives without announcement. There is no clear moment when midday becomes something softer. The change happens slowly, almost too gently to notice. The sun begins its quiet descent, though it still hangs high enough to warm the land in a steady, even way. In the fields, the pace remains unchanged. There is no effort to finish quickly, no push to complete one last task before the light fades. The work simply continues, just as it did in the morning, just as it will again tomorrow. A man walks along a narrow path between sections of soil. His steps are careful but unhurried. The ard beneath his feet feels slightly warmer now, though not uncomfortable. It holds the heat of the sun in a quiet way, releasing it slowly into the air. He pauses near a small channel of water. The water moves gently, guided by simple shapes formed in the earth. It does not rush forward. It follows the path given to it, filling spaces, soaking into the soil, disappearing quietly beneath the surface. He adjusts the edge of the channel with his hand, pressing the earth into place so the water flows where it is needed. The motion is small, simple. It takes only a moment. Then he moves on. There is no need to check it again. It will continue on its own. This is how many things are done here, with quiet trust, with the understanding that once something is set in motion, it will continue without constant attention. The breeze returns, moving softly across the land. It carries with it a faint coolness now, a subtle change that signals the slow turning of the day. It brushes against the crops, against the manus in the fields, against the walls of the village homes. It does not linger. It passes gently, leaving behind the same stillness as before. At the edge of the Nile, the water reflects a slightly softer light. The brightness of midday has eased, replaced by something warmer, more muted. The surface of the river holds this light quietly, just as it holds everything else. A boat moves across the water, not quickly, never quickly. The man guiding it uses a long pole, pressing it into the riverbed, pushing gently, then lifting it again. Each movement is steady, measured. There is no urgency in his actions. He knows where he is going, and he knows he will get there in time. Time here does not need to be controlled. It does not need to be chased. It simply unfolds. In the village, the afternoon brings a deeper quiet. The sounds of work continue, but they feel softer now, as if the day itself is beginning to rest. A woman finishes grinding grain and sets the adawat aside. She wipes her hands slowly, brushing away the fine dust. The motion is unhurried, almost thoughtful. She stands for a moment, looking out toward the fields. There is nothing new to see, and yet she looks anyway, perhaps not to observe, but simply to be still. Nearby, a child leans against a wall, eyes half closed. The warmth of the day, the steady rhythm of the hours, all seem to gather into a gentle heaviness. Not exhaustion, but something softer, a quiet tiredness, the kind that comes from repetition, from calm, from the absence of urgency. The child does not resist it. There is no reason to. The moment is allowed to stretch, to settle, to become still. The sun continues its slow descent. The light begins to shift again, almost too gradually to notice. Shadows lengthen, reaching softly across the yard. The air cools just slightly more, though the warmth remains. In the fields, the workers begin to pause more often. Not together, not in any organized way, just one, then another, each person finding a moment to step back, to stand, to breathe. A man rests his hands at his sides, looking out across the land. The crops move gently in the breeze. The river glows softly in the distance. Beyond that, the desert remains unchanged, still and silent as ever. Everything appears exactly as it should. There is no sense of something missing, no feeling that more needs to be done. Only the quiet understanding that the day is moving forward, just as it always does. A few workers begin to walk back toward the village. Their steps are slow, unhurried. They do not speak much. There is no need. The path is familiar. The destination is certain. Behind them, the fields remain. They will be here tomorrow. They will wait. Nothing will change overnight. The work left undone will simply become part of the next day. There is no pressure to complete everything now, because everything here exists within a cycle that has no clear end. The Nile continues to flow. The soil continues to hold life. The sun continues to rise and fall. And within that endless pattern, each day finds its place. As the afternoon deepens, the village begins to gather itself once more, not with movement, but with stillness. Fires are prepared again, small and steady. Simple tasks return, just as they did the evening before. Nothing new, nothing unexpected, only the same quiet motions repeated once more. The air grows softer, the light becomes warmer, and the day begins very gently to lean toward evening, not with a sudden shift, but with a slow, steady drift, a calm fading, a calm continuation of everything that has already been and everything that will be again.
The afternoon softens further, almost without being noticed. The light, once steady and bright, begins to loosen its hold on the land. It does not fade quickly. It simply becomes gentler, spreading across the earth in long, quiet stretches. The warmth of the day lingers, but it no longer feels constant. It comes and goes in soft waves, carried by a light breeze that moves slowly between the fields and the village. The work continues, though more slowly now. Not because it must end, but because the day itself is beginning to rest. A man places his tool down beside him. There is no final motion, no sense of completion. He simply stops. He stands for a moment, looking down at the soil, then out toward the river. Everything appears as it did before. Nothing calls for urgency, nothing asks to be finished. And so he turns, beginning the quiet walk back toward the village. Others follow in their own time, one by one, not together, not in a group, each person moving at a pace that feels natural, unforced. Their footsteps press lightly into the earth, leaving marks that will soon fade. The paths they follow are well known. They do not need to look down. They do not need to think about where they are going. The body remembers. The village begins to gather them back, slowly, like a calm tide returning to shore. At the edge of the Nile, the fisherman lifts his net once more. The motion is unchanged, steady, careful. Water slips away in thin streams, returning to the river without sound. He removes what the net has given, placing it aside without hurry. There is no need to catch more. There will be another day, another morning, another chance. He lowers the net again, not with expectation, but with quiet routine. The river continues, always the same, always moving, always present. The sky shifts into softer colors. The blue fades into something warmer, touched lightly with gold. It spreads slowly, like a quiet breath across the horizon. The surface of the Nile reflects this change, holding the colors gently, then letting them drift away as the light moves. In the village, small fires begin to glow. They are not bright. They do not demand attention. They simply exist, adding a soft warmth to the cooling air. A woman kneels beside one, preparing food in the same way she did before. Her movements are slow, familiar. There is no variation, no need for it. She presses, turns, waits, repeats.
The smell rises again, simple and steady. Grain warmed by fire, nothing more. Nearby, voices begin to gather, low and calm. People sit close to one another, not in large groups, but in small, quiet clusters. They speak without urgency. Their words move slowly, drifting from one thought to another. Some stories return, stories told before, stories that do not change, and no one asks for something new, because newness is not what fills their days. Familiarity does, repetition does, and within that repetition there is comfort. A child sits near the earth, drawing soft lines again with a finger. The shapes are different this time, but they carry the same quiet purpose. None. They exist only for the moment. A breeze passes gently through, brushing over the marks, softening them, erasing them. The child does not react. There is no need to preserve them. Nothing here needs to last beyond its time. The sun lowers further. The light becomes thinner now, stretching across the land in long, fading lines. Shadows grow. The air cools. The warmth of the day begins to settle into the earth, leaving the surface calm and comfortable. A man sits outside his home. He does not speak. He does not move much. He simply rests, watching the slow change of light as it moves across the village. There is no sense of time passing quickly, no awareness of minutes or hours, only the gradual shift from light to dark, and within that shift, a quiet stillness. The Nile reflects the last of the sun's light, a soft glow that lingers for a moment before fading. The water remains calm, unchanged, even as the sky moves toward evening. The first stars begin to appear again, faint at first, then clearer, one by one, always in the same places, always returning. The village grows quieter, voices lower, movements slow. The fires burn softly, their light flickering gently against the walls of the homes. Nothing stands out, nothing interrupts. Everything blends together into a calm, steady quiet. A child leans against a parent, eyes heavy once more. The day has not been difficult. It has not been filled with strain, but it has been long, and in its length there is a natural ending, a slow drifting toward rest. People begin to settle again, not all at once, not with intention, just gradually, each person finding their place, their space, their stillness. The sounds fade, the light fades, the warmth fades, and night returns just as it did before, softly, gently, without demand. The Nile continues in the darkness. The earth cools beneath the quiet sky, and everything becomes still again. Not empty, not silent in a sharp way, but softly quiet, the kind of quiet that holds everything in place, the kind that allows the world to rest. And as the night deepens, nothing feels unfinished, nothing feels rushed. Only the steady, endless rhythm remains, carrying the day into night and the night into another morning that will come just the same.
The night passes as it always does, slowly, without interruption. The stars move across the sky in their steady paths, unseen by most, unnoticed, yet always present. The air remains cool, resting lightly over the yards, holding the calm of darkness without effort. And then, once again, morning begins. Not suddenly, not with a clear beginning, but with a soft change in the sky. Darkness loosens, giving way to a pale light that slowly spreads across the horizon. The stars fade one by one, leaving behind the same wide, open blue that returns every day. The Nile continues its quiet movement. It has not changed. It does not change. It flows just as it did yesterday, just as it did before, just as it will again. In the village, the first small sounds begin to return. A shift inside a home, a soft step on the earth, the quiet beginning of movement. A man opens his eyes. He does not rise immediately. He remains still for a moment, just as he did the day before and the day before that. There is no thought of difference, no expectation of change, only the quiet understanding that this day will be like the others. He stands, steps outside, feels the same ground beneath his feet, sees the same sky above him, hears the same gentle sounds beginning to form. A woman begins the steady motion of grinding grain, back and forth, back and forth. The rhythm returns without effort. It has never really stopped. It simply pauses, then continues. Children stir, moving slowly, their voices soft, their steps unhurried. Nothing begins with energy. Everything begins with calm. The river reflects the early light once more. A thin mist hovers above it again, drifting lightly before fading into the warming air. A fisherman approaches, carrying his net. He places it down gently, prepares it in the same way, repeats the same motions. Nothing needs to be learned again. Nothing needs to be changed. The body remembers. The hands remember. And so the day begins again. In the fields, the same paths are walked, the same earth is touched, the same work resumes. There is no sense of starting over, only the feeling of continuing something that never truly ends. A man presses seeds into the soil. Another guides water through narrow channels. The breeze moves across the land, just as it did before. The sun rises slowly, just as it always does. Everything follows the same pattern, the same quiet rhythm. And within that rhythm, days begin to blend together. One day feels like the next feels like the one before. There are no strong markers of change, no sudden events that separate one moment from another. Time becomes something soft, something that stretches and folds gently into itself. A week passes, but it does not feel like a week. A month passes, but it does not feel like a month. Even a year moves by, carried quietly by the rise and fall of the Nile. The flood comes, slowly. It spreads across the fields, just as it always has. The water covers the earth, leaving behind its rich, dark gift. Then it recedes, just as slowly, returning to its place, leaving the land ready once more. This is the only true change, and even this change is expected. It does not surprise, it does not disrupt. It is part of the pattern, a pattern that has repeated for generations, and so life continues within it. A child grows, slowly, almost unnoticed. One day they sit quietly in the dust. Another day they walk beside the adults. Later they join in the work, not with ceremony, not with announcement, just gradually, as if it has always been that way. An older person sits more often now, resting in the shade, watching rather than working. There is no sudden shift, no clear moment when things change, only a slow adjustment, a quiet easing into stillness. The village remains the same. The homes do not change. The paths do not change. The river does not change. Even the sounds remain familiar, the grinding of grain, the soft murmur of voices, the quiet movement of water. All of it continues, day after day, year after year. Nothing feels urgent. Nothing feels temporary. Everything feels steady, enduring. And in that steadiness, there is something that might seem unusual to those who look back from a different time. There is very little excitement,
very little variation, very little that demands attention. And yet, there is also very little worry, very little uncertainty, very little that feels out of place. Life here does not rise and fall in sharp moments. It moves in a long, gentle line, a slow, continuous flow, like the Nile itself, always moving, but never rushing, always changing, but never surprising. As the day once again moves towards its quiet middle, the sun rises higher, the warmth returns, and the familiar rhythm settles into place. The same work, the same sounds, the same steady pace. And within that repetition, the world continues, calm, unchanged, and softly, endlessly, the same.
The day moves forward in its slow, unhurried way. Along the Nile, the water shifts gently, barely noticeable to anyone who is not looking closely. Small ripples pass over its surface, catching the sun in quiet flashes, then disappearing without a trace. The river does not hurry. It does not press forward. It simply flows, always flowing, always steady, always present. A fisherman places his net into the water once more. His hands move carefully, following motions learned and repeated countless times. The net dips into the river, water slipping through the fibers. The sound is soft, the movement is steady. The fish are gathered slowly, one by one. There is no rush, no excitement, only the quiet rhythm of work that has existed for generations. Nearby, reeds sway lightly in the breeze. Their movement is soft, like a whispered breath across the surface of the water. The sound they make is almost imperceptible. Only those who listen closely notice the gentle rustle, a delicate addition to the calm of the river. The air carries the smell of water and earth. It is damp but not heavy. It is soft, steady, comforting in its simplicity. In the village, people go about their small tasks. Bread is baked over a low flame, grain is ground, water is poured into clay vessels and carried slowly from one place to another. Each movement is careful, measured, familiar. There is no hurry, there is no sudden action, only the quiet passage of one task into another. Children wander slowly along the paths. Their feet disturb the dust gently. Their voices are soft, sometimes only a whisper. They do not run, they do not shout. Their movements blend with the rhythm of the day. A woman kneels by a small fire, shaping flatbread over its gentle heat. She presses it lightly, waits, then turns it again. Each motion repeats itself, simple and calm, without effort. The light changes very gradually. Shadows lengthen. The warmth of the sun softens. A gentle breeze drifts through the village, touching faces, stirring the reeds, cooling the dust. The river reflects the shift in light. It becomes warmer in color, holding gold and soft orange across its surface. The movement is almost imperceptible, yet continuous. No one hurries, no one rushes. Everything moves at its own steady pace. And in this steadiness, there is comfort, there is safety, there is a quiet understanding that nothing will demand more than what is already here. The river continues, the sun continues, the land continues. The people continue, gently, quietly, without urgency. Nothing is sudden, nothing is dramatic. Everything unfolds slowly, as it always has. The day drifts toward evening, just as it has countless times before. The light softens, the air cools,
Shadows grow longer. The homes become still. The fires burn lower. The smell of bread and smoke lingers in the air. Voices fade. Movements slow. The world quiets itself. The first stars appear. The sky deepens. The river glows softly under the fading light. The people settle down. They do not rush to rest. They do not prepare for anything sudden. They simply lie or sit, allowing the calm of the evening to surround them. The water continues its gentle flow. The land cools. The night deepens. And all is steady, calm, and slow. Endless, unchanging, softly, quietly, the same.
The light begins to fade in a quiet, unhurried way. It does not disappear all at once. It lingers, stretching across the earth in long, soft shadows that slowly grow deeper. The warmth of the day loosens its hold, and the air becomes gentle again. In the village, movement becomes even slower. There is no clear moment when work ends and rest begins. The two simply blend together, like the colors of the sky as the sun lowers itself toward the horizon. A woman turns a flat piece of bread over a small fire. The flame is low, steady, almost quiet. It does not crackle loudly. It only glows, sending up a thin line of smoke that drifts into the evening air. The smell is warm and simple, grain and heat, nothing more. She does not rush. She presses the bread lightly, waits, then turns it again. The motion repeats, just as it has many times before. Nearby, a child sits close to the ground, tracing slow shapes in the dust with a finger. There is no pattern that needs to be followed, no goal to reach, only the quiet movement of hand over soft earth. The marks will not last. A breeze will come or a footstep will pass, and they will disappear. But that does not matter. Nothing here needs to last forever. The Nile continues its soft movement, reflecting the changing sky. The blue fades into a muted gold, then into a deeper shade that leans gently toward orange. The surface of the water holds these colors for a while, then slowly releases them as the light shifts again. A boat drifts near the edge of the river. It is no longer moving with purpose. It simply rests. The man inside it adjusts his position slightly, then becomes still. There is nothing left to do for today. He watches the water. Or perhaps he is not watching anything at all. Perhaps he is simply sitting, letting the moment pass as it will. In ancient Egypt, moments like this were common. Not moments of action, but moments of stillness. Moments where nothing needed to happen. And so, nothing did. The sky continues to darken. The first hint of evening settles over the land like a soft cloth. The air cools just enough to be noticed, but not enough to disturb the comfort of the day. People gather near their homes, sitting close, but not crowded. They speak quietly, their voices low and even. There are no loud stories, no sudden laughter, only gentle conversation, moving slowly from one thought to another. Some words are repeated. Some stories are told again, just as they were before, and no one seems to mind, because repetition is not something to avoid here. It is something to trust. The same words, the same stories, the same quiet patterns, they create a sense of steadiness, a feeling that everything is as it should be. A man tears a piece of bread and eats slowly. He does not take large bites. He does not rush to finish. He simply eats, tasting the simple flavor, letting it last. Food here is not complicated.
It does not need to be. Grain, water, sometimes fish, sometimes small vegetables grown near the river. Each meal is similar to the last, and yet it is enough. As the sun slips lower, the light becomes softer still. It no longer fills the land, it rests lightly upon it. Then, slowly, it begins to leave. The horizon holds on to it for a moment, glowing faintly, before letting it go. And then there is evening, not sudden, not dramatic, just a quiet change. The sky deepens into blue, then darker blue, then something close to black. Small points of light begin to appear, one by one. The stars. They are steady, unmoving, familiar, just like everything else. The people of the village notice them, but not with surprise. They have always been there, every night, in the same places, returning again and again, just like the river, just like the days. A child leans against a parent, eyes growing heavy. The sounds of the village grow softer still. Voices fade, movements slow. Even the fire burns lower now, its light dim and warm. The smell of smoke lingers, mixing with the coolness of the night air. A gentle breeze passes through once more, carrying with it the quiet presence of the Nile. The river does not sleep. It continues always, but its sound is soft enough to blend into the silence. Homes become still. One by one, people settle into rest. They lie down on simple surfaces, surrounded by the quiet familiarity of their space. There are no sudden thoughts of tomorrow, no long lists of things to do. Tomorrow will come, just as today did, with the same light, the same work, the same rhythm. And so there is nothing to worry about, nothing to prepare, only rest. The night deepens. The stars fill more of the sky. The land cools gently, and everything becomes quiet. Not empty, just quiet. A soft, steady quiet that wraps around the village, around the river, around the earth itself. And in that quiet, the world continues, slowly, gently, unchanged, just as it has for countless nights before, and just as it will again.
Night deepens further, folding over the village and the fields like a soft, dark cloth. The stars are clearer now, pinpoints of light that seem to float in the sky, steady and calm. They do not hurry across the heavens. They move slowly, predictably, each one holding its place in the vast, unchanging canvas above. The river carries their reflection gently. Its surface glimmers faintly, catching light here and there, then settling back into calm ripples. Each movement is soft, unremarkable, continuous. In the village, almost everything is still. Fires burn low, flickering quietly, giving off faint warmth and the gentle smell of smoke. The air is cooler now, and the land rests beneath it, soft and quiet. A man walks slowly along the path beside his home. He does not speak. He does not rush. Each step is careful, steady, deliberate. The dust shifts under his feet, leaving faint marks that will soon be smoothed again by the breeze or another passerby. He pauses beside the river for a moment, looking at the gentle movement of water. It is the same as it was earlier in the day, and it will be the same tomorrow. There is no need to comment on it, no need to change it. It simply is. A child sleeps near the home, head resting softly against a parent's lap. Breathing is even, steady, slow. Limbs relax. Eyes remain closed. The child is safe. The night is soft.
Nearby, a woman gently stirs a small fire to keep the warmth steady. She does not hurry. Her hands move slowly, methodically. The soft sound of crackling wood drifts into the air, blending with the faint lap of the river and the whisper of the breeze. Even the smallest details matter here, but only in their quiet repetition. Night deepens further, folding over the village and the fields like a soft, dark cloth. The stars are clearer now, pinpoints of light that seem to float in the sky, steady and calm. They do not hurry across the heavens. They move slowly, predictably, each one holding its place in the vast, unchanging canvas above. The river carries their reflection gently. Its surface glimmers faintly, catching light here and there, then settling back into calm ripples. Each movement is soft, unremarkable, continuous. In the village, almost everything is still. Fires burn low, flickering quietly, giving off faint warmth and the gentle smell of smoke. The air is cooler now, and the land rests beneath it, soft and quiet. A man walks slowly along the path beside his home. He does not speak. He does not rush. Each step is careful, steady, deliberate. The dust shifts under his feet, leaving faint marks that will soon be smoothed again by the breeze or another passerby. He pauses beside the river for a moment, looking at the gentle movement of water. It is the same as it was earlier in the day, and it will be the same tomorrow. There is no need to comment on it, no need to change it. It simply is. A child sleeps near the home, head resting softly against a parent's lap. Breathing is even, steady, slow. Limbs relax, eyes remain closed. The child is safe. The night is soft. Nearby, a woman gently stirs a small fire to keep the warmth steady. She does not hurry. Her hands move slowly, methodically. The soft sound of crackling wood drifts into the air, blending with the faint lap of the river and the whisper of the breeze. Even the smallest details matter here, but only in their quiet repetition. A man adjusts a piece of cloth over a doorway. A container of water is set carefully on the ground. The movements are familiar, measured, without urgency. All of it flows into the same slow rhythm that governs this place. The rhythm of days, of nights, of the river, of the fields, of people quietly living. Time itself feels soft. It is not counted in minutes or hours, but in gentle transitions, in the slow shift from one light to another, from warmth to cool, from movement to stillness. The river keeps flowing. The land keeps holding life. The village keeps existing, quietly, predictably, safely. No one needs to worry about what comes next. It will arrive in its own time. The wind rustles the reeds by the river once more, a faint, soothing sound. The branches of a small tree sway lightly. The river's surface shimmers faintly in the starlight. Every element continues without sudden interruption. Even the animals are calm. Birds rest in the trees. Small creatures move softly in the grass, barely disturbing the stillness. It is a night without drama, without urgency, without sharpness. And because of that, it is a night full of comfort. A man sits at the edge of the water, watching the faint reflections of stars. He does not speak, he does not act. He simply watches, letting the quiet of the night fill him. The rhythm of life here is endless. It is slow, it is steady, it is unchanging. And in that unchanging there is a deep, pervasive calm. A calm that settles over the village, over the river, over the fields, over the homes, over the people, over the land itself. It is a calm that carries into sleep, into rest, into the gentle drift of consciousness. It is the same calm that has existed for generations. It is the same calm that will continue for generations to come. The night deepens, the river flows, the land rests, the village sleeps. As the night moves on, the world seems to pause in a way that is not complete stillness, but a quiet folding inward. The stars watch from above, steady and gentle. Their light is soft, not harsh. It drifts across the water, across the rooftops, across the fields, touching everything in a slow, calm embrace. The river moves steadily, carrying nothing but itself. Small ripples shift silently, brushing lightly against the banks. The sound is faint, soothing, and continuous. It blends with the night air and becomes part of the rhythm of life here. In the village, most people are resting. Some are fully asleep, while others sit quietly, eyes half closed, listening to the gentle sounds of the night. Each breath, each movement, each sound fits perfectly into the slow cadence of life. A woman leans against a doorway, gazing at the river. Her hands rest loosely in her lap. She does not move quickly. She does not speak. She simply exists within the night, as the night exists around her. A child stirs slightly in sleep, then settles again. Limbs relax, breathing deepens. The body conforms naturally to the stillness, following the quiet rhythm that the village has maintained for generations. The earth beneath them holds the warmth of the day, now softened and spread evenly, comforting without pressing. The wind moves gently, brushing over the soil and the reeds, caressing the fields without disturbance. There is no urgency. There is no demand. There is only the slow, continuous unfolding of time. The village, the river, the fields, they exist together in a quiet harmony. Every action is deliberate yet unhurried. Every sound is gentle yet present. Every moment stretches and softens into the next. The river reflects the stars with subtle shimmer. The trees sway lightly, shadows long and slow across the ground. Fires burn low, their warmth steady, their light soft. Everything moves together in a calm procession. Nothing interrupts, nothing surprises. Everything simply exists, as it always has, as it always will. The people are part of this rhythm, but they do not control it. They follow it gently, allowing the quiet flow to guide them. The night deepens further. The river's movement is uninterrupted, its surface calm. The air is cool, still, and steady. The homes of the village hold quiet forms of life. Children sleep, adults rest. The simplest tasks have ended for the day. Even the smallest sounds, the rustle of cloth, the soft shift of a limb, the whisper of water, become part of the calm, blending seamlessly into the night. And above all, there is the unchanging sense of continuity. The days will continue. The nights will return. The river will flow. The sun will rise and fall. And the village will remain, slowly, quietly, endlessly, the same. It is a rhythm without beginning or end, without urgency, without expectation. And within it, all is calm. All is safe. All is quietly, gently, completely the same.
The night eventually begins to soften, though so slowly that it almost feels as though it lingers forever. The darkness loosens its hold over the land, A pale light begins to appear at the horizon. It spreads gently, without force, touching the river first, then the reeds, then the village. The stars fade quietly, their light absorbed by the growing warmth of the early sun. Nothing moves suddenly, nothing startles the world awake. The transition is slow, gentle, like a soft exhale after a long pause. The river reflects the pale light. Its surface is calm. Tiny ripples drift across it slowly, stirred only by the lightest touch of the morning breeze. The water flows steadily, unchanging, endlessly. In the village, a few soft sounds signal the return of life. A child shifts slightly in sleep. A door opens quietly. A small vessel is set down with gentle care. A woman begins to grind grain, her motions deliberate and calm, back and forth, back and forth. The rhythm is familiar, almost meditative. The sound blends into the gentle morning, becoming part of the quiet world. A man steps outside. He feels the ground beneath his feet, soft and familiar from many days before. The warmth of the sun is still weak, spreading slowly over the land. He walks toward the river, carrying a simple net. He does not hurry. He does not speak. He moves as he always has, in tune with the rhythm of the world around him. The children begin to stir more fully now. Their movements are slow and soft. They wander through the village paths without purpose, exploring lightly, touching the earth gently, their voices whispers against the calm of the morning. The sun rises gradually, brushing the village with a gentle golden warmth. It does not press, it does not demand attention. It only exists, as it always has, as it always will. The river responds, catching the light and scattering it across its surface in tiny, quiet reflections. The reeds sway, the soil glows faintly, and the air is filled with the subtle scent of earth and water, soft and constant. The rhythm of life begins anew. People resume their work at a measured pace. Seeds are planted, water channels are checked, grain is ground, fires are tended, nets are set in the river, all in familiar order. Nothing begins with urgency, nothing ends abruptly. Each action flows naturally into the next, blending seamlessly with the environment and with the passage of time. The river continues to flow. The fields remain steady. The village carries on in the quiet, unbroken rhythm it has held for generations. Time does not push here. Time simply exists, carrying each day softly into the next. And as the light strengthens, as the gentle warmth of the sun spreads, everything, river, fields, homes, people, move together in slow, peaceful harmony. The day continues, calm and measured, unhurried, steady.
The morning deepens without sudden movement. The sun rises higher, but it does so gently, spreading light across the village and the fields in a soft, even glow. Nothing is bright enough to startle. Nothing is sharp enough to interrupt. The day unfolds slowly, quietly, in a rhythm that has been repeated countless times before. The river continues its steady flow. Its water laps quietly against the banks, brushing reeds, stones, and soft soil with gentle insistence. The sound is barely there, yet it carries through the morning air, blending seamlessly with other soft noises, the distant murmuring of the village, the shuffle of feet on earth, the slow movement of small animals. People move carefully. A man presses seeds into the earth. A woman carries water in clay vessels, walking slowly, deliberately. The children follow, stepping softly along the same well-worn paths. There is no hurry here, no sudden bursts of energy. Each motion flows naturally into the next, repeating the patterns of countless days. The work itself is slow, tilling the soil, guiding water, sweeping dust, preparing food. Each action, simple and repeated, fills the morning without urgency. The land absorbs it all, the fields, the village, the river. They exist in harmony with these motions, each completing the other. A gentle breeze drifts over the village. It brushes across faces, moving dust and leaves, touching hair and cloth. It carries the faint scent of river water, of warm earth, of grain and baked bread. The aroma is soft, familiar, and comforting. The river reflects the morning light in small, scattered patches. It ripples slightly, barely enough to catch the eye, but enough to remind that time continues, always slowly, always steadily, always calmly. Children begin to play softly. They run lightly through the fields, stepping carefully, laughing only in quiet whispers. Their movements are deliberate, unhurried. They do not rush. They do not compete. They are simply part of the rhythm of the morning. Animals move quietly, too. Birds stir in the trees. Small creatures rustle through the grass. Each sound blends into the environment. Nothing stands out sharply. Nothing demands attention. The sun climbs higher, bringing warmth. The light becomes steady and soft. Shadows move slowly across the land, lengthening, shrinking, shifting in a pattern that is gradual, calm, and predictable. The river continues to flow, its movement unchanged, indifferent, constant. The fields soak in the sun and the water, holding it, letting it nurture crops and soil alike. People carry on with their work, repeating the same motions over and over, day after day. The village exists within this slow, quiet rhythm, the rhythm of life that is almost unchanging. Time does not rush here. It does not press forward. It stretches, soft and continuous, folding over each moment with calm insistence. The work, the river, the fields, the people, the land, they all move together. They flow together. They exist together. And everything continues in gentle, endless repetition. Nothing is urgent. Nothing is dramatic. Nothing interrupts the calm. It is life in its simplest form, steady, safe, and enduring.
The day stretches gently, unmarked by sudden events. The sun moves slowly across the sky, its light steady and warm. Shadows shift gradually, lengthening and shortening, forming soft patterns on the ground. The heat rises, but not sharply. It carries quietly, settling across rooftops, fields, and riverbanks. The river continues its slow, uninterrupted flow. Tiny ripples slide across its surface, barely disturbing the reflection of the sky. The water moves with quiet consistency, carrying nothing except its own current. In the village, people continue their work. Each task is simple, deliberate, repeated. Grain is ground, bread is baked, water is carried in clay jars, nets are set along the river, tools are handled carefully. Each movement is measured, steady, unhurried. The air is filled with soft sounds, the gentle shuffle of feet on dirt, the faint scraping of tools, the distant murmur of voices. Nothing is abrupt, nothing startles. Everything blends into the slow rhythm of daily life. A woman kneels beside a small fire, turning bread over the warm surface. The aroma rises gently, drifting in the calm air. She does not hurry. She does not pause. She repeats the motion, slow and steady, in the same way she has for many mornings.
Children wander through the village paths. Their movements are quiet, gentle. They do not rush. They do not shout. They explore softly, stepping lightly, their eyes absorbing the familiar surroundings without urgency. The river carries the reflections of the day's light. Tiny waves shift across its surface, catching sun in faint glimmers that fade slowly. Reeds sway lightly along the banks, brushing against each other with the softest of sounds. Everywhere, life continues in quiet repetition. The work of the fields, the care of the river, the preparation of meals, the tending of homes, they follow one another in a seamless chain. There is no need to mark the passage of hours with alarm or urgency. The day moves forward gently, carrying everything along with it. The sun climbs higher. Its warmth spreads evenly. Shadows move imperceptibly. The air holds the faint scent of earth, water, and food. The breeze drifts lightly across the village, brushing faces, swaying clothes, stirring small dust particles. A man rests briefly under the shade of a tree. His hands are still. His eyes follow the river for a moment, noticing nothing in particular. The movement of the water is familiar, comforting. It does not demand attention. It simply is. Animals continue their quiet work. Birds shift in the trees. Small creatures rustle softly in the grass. Each sound is faint, blending with the general calm, becoming part of the steady rhythm that holds the village together. Time is soft here. It does not press. It does not demand. It unfolds gradually, folding each hour into the next, without sudden shifts. The river flows. The land rests and grows. The village moves gently within this rhythm, and each moment is connected to the one before and to the one that will follow. Life continues slowly, predictably, safely, quietly, and the day carries forward in its soft, unbroken pattern, the same as every day before and the same as every day that will come. The rhythm of life here is endless, steady, calm, gentle, and it continues, softly, quietly, the same.
The sun now moves past the midpoint of the sky. Its warmth is steady, soft, filling the village and the fields evenly. Shadows shift slowly across the ground, stretching long and thin, then shortening as the light drifts. The river flows with the same calm, unhurried movement. Gentle ripples move across the surface, brushing against reeds and stones, carrying no sound except the soft, soothing lapping against the banks. People continue their work with quiet diligence. A man tends the fields, pressing seeds into the soil with careful hands. Another checks the small channels that carry water across the land. A woman stirs a pot over the fire, turning the contents slowly, without rush. Every action is familiar. Every movement is measured. Nothing surprises. Nothing demands attention. Children walk along the paths, picking up small stones or bits of plant matter. Their movements are slow, deliberate, calm. Occasionally, one stops to examine something briefly, then continues along the same path. There is no urgency, no need for speed, only the gentle rhythm of presence. The wind drifts across the village softly. It moves through the reeds by the river, rustles the leaves of trees, brushes against clay walls and dust paths. The sound is faint, soothing, almost imperceptible. It carries the faint scent of the river, the soil, and the baked earth. The river mirrors the sun, glinting lightly in small patches, then settling back into calm reflections. Its movement is steady, continuous,
unchanging. Animals follow the same gentle patterns. Birds move from branch to branch, wings silent, feet careful. Small creatures scuttle lightly through grass and dust, barely noticeable, part of the overall calm. Even the simplest sounds, the scraping of a tool, the gentle shift of a footstep, the murmur of voices, blend together into one continuous, soft rhythm. The village, the river, the fields, they exist together in a slow, seamless pattern. There is no hurry. There is no abruptness. There is only the soft, steady unfolding of life. Time passes, but not in measured hours. It passes in soft moments, in gentle shifts of light and warmth, in the quiet movements of people and animals and water. The day stretches quietly, unbroken. The river flows steadily. The earth absorbs the warmth and light. The people move gently within this rhythm, following motions that have existed for generations. There is no sudden excitement. There is no sharp sound. There is no urgent call. Only the long, calm flow of life continues, steady and familiar. And as the afternoon moves slowly toward evening, the light softens, the air cools, and the world begins to ease into the gentle transition that will carry it into night. The rhythm of life persists, steady, slow, quiet, the same.
The sun begins its slow descent in the sky. Its light, once bright and high, now leans gently toward the horizon, softening the warmth and spreading a golden glow across the river and the fields. The color of the sky deepened slowly, fading from the pale blue of midday into warmer, honeyed shades, with faint hints of orange and soft pinks that stretch across the horizon. The change is subtle, almost imperceptible, but it colors everything in a calm, comforting light that invites rest and quiet reflection. The river flows steadily, never hurried, carrying its slow, eternal rhythm along the same familiar path. Its surface reflects the shifting colors of the sky, the faint shimmer of clouds, and the occasional flicker of a bird that dips toward its waters. Small ripples move across the surface, touching reeds and riverbanks and fading as quickly as they appear. The sound of water brushing gently against stones and mud is barely audible, but it is constant, a soft hum that blends seamlessly with the world around it. In the village, life continues at the same unhurried pace that has existed for generations. People carry out small tasks, each one deliberate, each one familiar. A woman sits near the doorway of her home, shaping dough slowly, pressing it evenly, turning it gently over a low, steady fire. The smell of baking bread rises, mingling with the warm scent of the soil and the river, creating a calm, soothing atmosphere that spreads softly across the village. A man walks through the fields, hands brushing lightly against the tops of the crops, checking the soil, adjusting irrigation channels. His steps are measured, slow, and careful, following a rhythm that his body has known for years. Every movement is familiar, effortless, and repeated, carrying a quiet dignity in its simplicity. Children wander along the narrow paths between homes and fields. Their steps are soft, their voices low. They move with curiosity, but without urgency. One stops to examine a small stone or a blade of grass, turning it gently in their fingers before continuing along the same meandering path. The day is long and steady, and there is no need to hurry through it. The world offers them time to notice the smallest details, to move with care and presence. The wind drifts gently through the village. It rustles the reeds along the river, sways the branches of trees, and brushes softly across the earth. Its sound is faint, almost imperceptible, yet it carries with it the cool, damp smell of the river and the warmth of the sun-baked soil.
Even the tiniest movement of air becomes part of the slow rhythm of life here. Birds move carefully from branch to branch, calling quietly, their wings shifting the air without rushing. Small animals scuttle lightly through the grass or dust, barely disturbing the calm around them. Their lives follow the same unhurried pattern, integrated into the soft cadence of the afternoon. Time itself seems to stretch and fold gently over the village. It is measured not in minutes or hours, but in the gradual shifting of sunlight across the land, in the slow movement of the river, and in the steady rhythm of daily work and rest. Each task flows naturally into the next, bread baked, grain ground, water carried, crops tended. There is no hurry, no pressure, no sense of urgency. Only the steady, predictable unfolding of life continues. As the afternoon grows longer, the light softens further. Shadows stretch across the earth, blending into one another, forming gentle patterns that shift slowly as the sun moves. The heat of the day eases, replaced by a cooler warmth that settles comfortably over the village. The river reflects this change, its surface holding the subtle colors of the sky in a quiet, steady shimmer. People pause occasionally, taking moments of rest. A man sits beneath a tree, leaning against its trunk, feeling the warmth of the sun fade from his skin. He does not need to speak or act, he only exists within the rhythm of this time, breathing slowly, moving gently, becoming one with the calm of the afternoon. A woman rests by the doorway, watching the children wander along the paths, hearing the faint murmur of the river, feeling the soft wind brush her skin. She does not speak, she does not move hastily, she simply exists, slowly, deliberately, comfortably within the world around her. Even the smallest details, the gentle rustle of cloth, the faint scraping of a tool, the soft murmur of voices, merge into a quiet, continuous harmony. Nothing dominates, nothing startles. Everything is part of the same unbroken pattern, the same slow, steady rhythm that shapes life in this village. The river continues its flow, the fields stretch in quiet green expanses, the village moves through the afternoon with soft, unhurried steps. Shadows lengthen, light deepens, and the world slowly begins to prepare for the evening that will follow. Time flows gently here. It does not press, it does not hurry. Each moment carries into the next, soft, unbroken, and continuous. And as the late afternoon stretches, the river, the fields, the village, the people, and the land itself remain steady, calm, and unchanging in the soft, gentle rhythm of life. The same rhythm that has existed for countless generations, and the same that will continue quietly into the evening to come. Everything continues, slowly, endlessly, peacefully, the same.
The sun continues its gentle descent toward the horizon. Its golden light stretches long across the river, the fields, and the village, softening everything it touches. The warmth of the day lingers, but it is muted now, no longer pressing. It folds over the land like a thin, comforting blanket, warming the earth without force. The river flows steadily, unchanged, carrying its slow, endless rhythm along the familiar path. Tiny ripples pass quietly over stones and reeds, creating faint whispers of movement that blend seamlessly with the soft hum of life. Occasionally, a small bird dips toward the water, touching the surface for a moment before lifting into the air, its wings moving slowly and deliberately. The river reflects these movements, the light and the shadows, holding them gently for a moment before releasing them into the current. In the village, people begin to wind down. The work of the day, simple and deliberate, is nearly complete. The fire in the communal cooking area burns lower, the smell of bread and roasting grain lingering in the cooling air. Clay jars filled with water sit quietly, their surfaces absorbing the warmth of the sun before it fades entirely. A woman moves slowly through her home, gathering small items, arranging them carefully for the next day. Her movements are deliberate, rhythmic, familiar. She does not hurry. There is no urgency. Each motion flows into the next naturally, like the river, like the breeze, like the shifting light of the sky. Children wander near the riverbank, their voices soft, almost whisperous as they skip stones or examine reeds and stones. They do not rush. Their laughter is gentle, distant, blending with the faint rustle of leaves and the quiet murmur of water. Every movement is measured, gentle, part of the unbroken rhythm of life that has existed here for generations. The wind drifts through the village and across the fields, brushing softly against cloth, reeds, and skin. Its touch is light, carrying the faint smell of river water, earth, and growing grain. The breeze is steady, continuous, a gentle presence that moves without urgency or interruption. Birds begin to settle into the trees for the night. Their wings brush softly against branches. They call to each other quietly, the notes fading into the larger calm of the evening. Small animals scuttle gently through the grass, returning to hidden places where they can rest. Even the smallest sounds, the softest motions, become part of the slow, comforting rhythm of life. The sun touches the horizon. Its light is warmer, deeper, filled with shades of amber and soft rose. Shadows lengthen across the village, blending with the gentle colors of the sky. Each shift is slow, deliberate, unhurried, as though the world itself has decided to pause for a moment and breathe. A man leans against a low wall, looking toward the river. He does not speak. He does not move quickly. His hands rest on his knees. His eyes follow the gentle flow of water, noticing nothing in particular, yet absorbing everything: the shimmer of light, the soft rustle of reeds, the distant hum of life. He breathes slowly, steadily, calmly. Time seems suspended in this soft evening. It is not measured by minutes or hours, but by the slow transition of light, by the gentle shift of warmth to cool, by the subtle movement of life around him. Each task, each step, each moment is part of a larger, unbroken flow. The village itself becomes quieter. The fire burns lower. The smells of the day linger faintly in the cooling air. Children settle near their homes. Adults pause, taking a moment to rest before night fully arrives. The river continues its soft movement. The fields hold the last warmth of the sun. Trees sway gently in the light evening breeze. Shadows deepen slowly, embracing the land in a calm, even darkness that is not abrupt, but gentle, protective, soothing. The rhythm of life continues, steady, soft, endless. No one hurries. No one raises their voice. No one interrupts the calm that surrounds everything. Everything, river, fields, village, people, wind, earth, exist together in slow, quiet harmony. The evening stretches forward, long and unbroken, carrying all into the approaching night with gentle continuity. And in this gentle unfolding, there is peace, a soft, steady, comforting peace that wraps the land, the river, and the people, holding everything safely, quietly, endlessly. The day drifts toward night. The river flows. The village rests. And all is calm. Softly, slowly, the same.
As the last traces of sunlight fade, the world drifts gently into night. The horizon softens, the sky deepens into shades of navy and indigo, and the first stars begin to appear, faint at first, then steadily growing brighter,
like soft points of calm light scattered across a vast, endless canvas. The river continues its slow, unbroken flow. Its surface catches the faint glimmers of starlight, scattering them gently across the water in a pattern that changes constantly, yet without urgency. Each ripple moves quietly, brushing reeds and mud along the banks, creating a soft, rhythmic sound that blends seamlessly with the world around it. The village grows still. Fires burn low, casting gentle flickers that illuminate doorways and walls without disturbing the calm. The smell of cooling bread, of clay, of river water drifts faintly through the air, soft and comforting. Children lie in their homes, curled up under blankets or resting on mats. Their breathing is steady, slow, measured. Limbs relax, eyes remain closed. Each rise and fall of their chests is part of the unhurried rhythm of the night. Adults pause as well. A woman adjusts a jar beside the hearth, touches a piece of cloth, then leans back, resting her hands in her lap. A man listens to the faint sounds of water, feeling the cool breeze brush across his skin. Nothing needs to be done. Nothing demands attention. The night moves at its own soft, unbroken pace. The wind drifts gently through the reeds and trees, rustling leaves in a quiet murmur. The soft rustle of branches blends with the faint lap of the river against the banks, forming a continuous, soothing hum. Small animals move quietly through the grass, returning to their hidden places without urgency, their presence felt only in the tiniest rustle or shuffle. The moon begins to rise slowly over the horizon, pale and gentle. Its light touches the village, the fields, and the river with a silver softness. Shadows stretch long and diffuse, blending everything into a calm, even darkness. The river glows faintly under the moonlight, reflecting its subtle brilliance across water and reed. People watch without hurry. A man leans against a wall, observing the river and the distant fields. His breathing is calm. His hands rest lightly on his knees. The world continues without demand or interruption. Each sound, each movement, each reflection is absorbed into the slow, comforting rhythm of night. Even the smallest motions, the swaying of a child in sleep, the soft brush of a hand across a vessel, the faint stir of grass in the wind, become part of the night's gentle cadence. Each blends seamlessly into the larger whole, forming a slow, continuous pulse that holds the village together. Time feels soft here. It does not press. It does not hurry. It drifts, gently, slowly, carrying each moment into the next. The river flows. The wind moves. The trees sway. Shadows deepen, fires burn lower, animals rest, people sleep. And the village, and the river, and the fields, and the land itself exist together in this quiet, gentle, unbroken rhythm. The night deepens further. Stars multiply in the sky. Their light is steady and calm. The moon rises higher, silvering the world in a soft glow. Each element holds its place, unchanged, peaceful, constant. The rhythm of life continues, slow, steady, endless. Everything, river, fields, village, people, stars, moonlight, wind, earth, flows together, quietly, seamlessly,
gently. The night stretches forward, the world moves softly within it, and all is calm, softly, slowly, quietly, the same.
The night deepens further, moving slowly toward its quietest hours. The moon drifts higher, pale and soft, casting a calm silver glow across the river, the fields, and the village. Shadows blend into one another, soft and diffuse, folding the land into a muted, soothing darkness. The river flows endlessly, steady and unhurried. Its surface glimmers faintly under the moonlight, reflecting stars and the slow movement of clouds drifting across the sky. Tiny ripples brush the banks, barely audible, a gentle, constant murmur that carries through the still air. Each ripple moves without urgency, part of the unbroken rhythm of the night. In the village, most people are fully asleep. Breathing is slow and steady, limbs relax, eyes remain closed. The warm, calm night embraces them, holding them in quiet safety. A soft breeze drifts through the trees and reeds. Its touch is light and delicate. It rustles leaves and grasses, brushes against walls and rooftops, carries faint scents of river water, earth, and drying grain. The wind does not hurry. It does not demand attention. It merely moves, gently, rhythmically, softly. Small nocturnal creatures stir quietly, moving through the grass and underbrush. Their motions are delicate, careful, almost imperceptible. Even the faintest sound they make, the shuffle of feet, the soft rustle of leaves, blends seamlessly into the hush of the night. Above, the stars are steady and constant, each one holding its place in the vast dark sky. Their light is soft, unchanging, calming. The moon's glow shifts slowly across the landscape, illuminating the river in silver, touching the roofs of homes, the tops of reeds, the paths worn smooth by many generations of slow, deliberate footsteps. A man stirs briefly beside the riverbank, leaning lightly on a stone. He observes the water, its movement steady and familiar. His hands rest in his lap. He breathes slowly, matching the unhurried rhythm of the world around him. The night carries on, unchanged, comforting, gentle. Even the smallest daily objects, the clay jars, the tools, the grains of sand along paths, seem to exist in a quiet, harmonious order. Nothing demands action, nothing intrudes. Each object, each movement, each breath flows naturally into the calm of the night. The rhythm of life here is unbroken. The river flows, the wind drifts, the reeds sway, the fields hold the cool of night, the village sleeps. Time itself feels soft, stretching and folding without edges. Each moment blends into the next, carrying the world forward slowly, gently, endlessly. Animals settle into rest. Birds are silent. Small creatures hide in the grass. The faintest sounds, water brushing the banks, wind in the trees, a soft shift of cloth, form a delicate background to the deep, pervasive calm. Every element of this night, from the river to the reeds to the stars above, move together in gentle, measured harmony. The night stretches, long and quiet, carrying the world softly toward the first touch of morning light. And within this slow, endless passage, all is calm, soft, steady, unchanging. Everything, the river, the fields, the village, the people, the wind, the earth,
The stars and the moonlight exist together in slow, peaceful continuity. The night deepens, carrying all in its soft, quiet embrace. The river flows, the village rests, and the world drifts slowly, endlessly, calmly, the same.
The night lingers, deep and quiet, carrying the village, the fields, and the river in its gentle embrace. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, the horizon begins to lighten. A faint, pale glow spreads across the sky, soft and muted, brushing the land with the first whispers of morning. The stars fade one by one, their points of light softening as the pale dawn steals them gently away. The moon, once high and bright, sinks slowly, giving its soft silver glow back to the darkening riverbanks. The world begins to stir without hurry. There is no sudden motion, no abrupt change. The day returns in a measured, calm way, like the gentle turning of a page. The river reflects the first light of dawn in gentle, shifting patterns. Tiny ripples glide across the surface, moving slowly, brushing against reeds and the soft mud of the banks. The sound is faint, rhythmic, and constant, a delicate whisper that blends with the quiet breathing of the world. In the village, life begins its slow return. People stir softly. A child shifts in sleep, then stretches lightly, curling back into warmth. An adult sits up, resting hands on knees, inhaling the cool, damp air of early morning. Each movement is deliberate, slow, and calm. There is no urgency, no need to rush into the day. The air carries the soft scent of river water, wet soil, and the faint residue of the day before. The breeze drifts lightly, rustling the leaves of trees and the reeds along the riverbank. Its sound is gentle, soothing, blending into the rhythm of awakening life. Women begin small tasks quietly. They gather clay pots, arrange reeds, and prepare for the simple work of the day. Each motion flows naturally, repeating familiar patterns without haste. The men move slowly toward their work in the fields, hands brushing over the tops of plants, checking irrigation channels, pressing seeds gently into the soil. Children wander along paths with measured steps, examining pebbles, reeds, or bits of clay. Their movements are soft and calm. Their voices are quiet whispers, blending with the murmur of water and the faint rustle of wind. The day has begun, yet it carries the same calm and gentle rhythm as the night that came before it. The dawn rises slowly, a soft golden light that spreads evenly across rooftops, fields, and the river. Shadows shift gradually, stretching and shrinking, merging with the colors of early morning. The warmth of the sun is gentle, embracing the earth without pressing. Its light touches everything softly, illuminating the familiar forms of the village in a comforting, steady glow. Animals awaken quietly. Birds stir in the trees, calling softly, wings brushing leaves without sound. Small creatures emerge from hiding places, stepping lightly across grass and soil. Their movements are soft and calm, part of the soft cadence of the early morning. The river flows steadily, reflecting the soft light, carrying water and shadows alike in a calm, continuous rhythm. Its sound is constant, a gentle hum beneath the soft noises of the village waking. Every action, every motion, every sound merges into the larger rhythm of life. There is no rush, there is no sharpness, there is only the steady, calm unfolding of another day. The earth itself seems to breathe. The soil, warmed by the returning sun, releases faint, comforting scents. The fields hold dew in soft droplets.
The wind drifts lazily across the land, brushing faces, swaying grasses, moving over the river in quiet undulations. Time continues its slow, unbroken passage. Each moment folds gently into the next. Each movement blends seamlessly with what has come before. The river, the village, the fields, the people, and the animals exist together in harmonious rhythm. The dawn spreads fully, bringing light without hurry, warmth without pressure, life without urgency. The rhythm of the day begins softly, carrying the calm of night forward, flowing seamlessly into morning. And in this gentle unfolding, all is peaceful, soft, slow, steady. The river flows. The village moves quietly, and the world continues endlessly, gently, the same.
The dawn continues to spread across the land, bathing the river, the fields, and the village in soft, steady light. The warmth is gentle, brushing over rooftops, reeds, and soil without urgency. Shadows move slowly, shifting across paths and walls as the sun rises higher, yet the pace remains calm, unhurried. The river flows steadily, reflecting the growing light in quiet, flickering patterns. Ripples slide across the surface, touching reeds and stones before fading naturally, leaving the water smooth again. Occasionally, a small fish breaks the surface, creating a barely noticeable ripple that dissolves quickly, returning the water to its calm, continuous rhythm. People begin their familiar morning tasks. A woman kneels by a low fire, turning bread over gently, feeling its warmth in her hands. She moves slowly, deliberately, following a rhythm she has known for years. The smell of baked grain drifts softly into the air, mingling with the earthy scent of the river and the faint aroma of dew on the soil. Children wander along the village paths, stepping lightly. Their hands brush against reeds, stones, and walls as they explore quietly. Sometimes they pause to examine a small object, a feather or a smooth pebble, turning it carefully before continuing. Their voices are soft, whispers carried lightly in the calm morning air. Men move into the fields with measured steps, checking irrigation channels, pressing seeds gently into the soil, guiding water slowly over rows of crops. Their motions are rhythmic, almost meditative, blending with the soft sounds of the river and the wind. Every movement is deliberate, familiar, unhurried. The wind drifts gently through the village and across the fields. It rustles the leaves of trees and the tall grasses by the river, brushing across the rooftops and the paths. Its touch is soft, carrying the faint scent of wet earth, water, and growing plants. Every small sound merges with the hum of the river and the soft activity of the village, forming a continuous, peaceful rhythm. Birds move carefully from branch to branch, wings brushing lightly against leaves. Their calls are quiet and steady, blending into the overall calm of the morning. Small creatures scuttle through the undergrowth, each step barely noticeable, yet part of the unbroken pattern of life. The sun climbs slowly, spreading warmth evenly across the land. Light touches rooftops, riverbanks, fields, and pathways, highlighting textures in soft, gentle detail. The warmth fills the air without pressing or startling, moving slowly, deliberately, like a hand resting gently on the shoulder of the world. Time passes softly. Each moment flows into the next, forming a long, unbroken sequence of calm, measured motion. The river continues to flow. The fields remain steady. The village moves through familiar routines. The earth itself seems to breathe in rhythm with all of this.
Even the smallest details, the faint scraping of a tool, the soft shift of a step on dirt, the low murmur of voices, merge into the slow, continuous cadence of the day. Nothing interrupts, nothing demands attention. Every sound, every motion, every breath becomes part of the larger, peaceful whole. The morning stretches forward, long and even, carrying life gently toward noon. Shadows shift slowly, sunlight touches new surfaces, and the world moves forward in its familiar, unhurried rhythm. The river flows. The fields grow. The village continues quietly. Time unfolds softly, steadily, endlessly. Everything exists together in calm, in harmony, in gentle repetition. And the rhythm of life carries on, slow and measured, the same, unbroken, peaceful, eternal.
The sun now rests higher in the sky, spreading steady, warm light across the river, the fields, and the village. Its warmth is even, calm, and unobtrusive. Shadows shrink beneath the trees and buildings, folding softly into the earth without harsh edges. The day moves forward slowly, with no sudden change, no rush, only a steady, unbroken unfolding of time. The river continues its quiet journey. Ripples slide across the surface, touching reeds and riverbanks with gentle insistence. Tiny glimmers of sunlight catch in the moving water, dancing softly and fading almost as soon as they appear. The sound of the water brushing stones and reeds is constant, a faint, soothing hum that blends seamlessly with the other quiet noises of the village. In the village, life continues with deliberate calm. A woman moves slowly from her home to the cooking area, carrying a clay vessel filled with water. She sets it down carefully, feeling the weight in her hands. She moves to the fire and stirs the food gently, the aroma rising slowly into the warm air. Each motion is deliberate, familiar, unhurried, repeated countless times across countless days. Men tend to the fields, moving in slow, rhythmic steps. They press seeds into the soil carefully, guide water over the crops, and check the channels with quiet attentiveness. Their work is simple, repetitive, and steady. Every movement flows into the next, forming a pattern that has existed for generations. Children wander softly along paths, exploring familiar spaces. Their hands touch reeds, walls, and stones as they move. Occasionally, a small bird or a smooth pebble draws their attention, and they pause to observe, their curiosity quiet and gentle. Their voices are soft, carried lightly by the warm air, blending with the hum of the river and the faint rustle of leaves. The wind drifts through the village and fields in soft, even waves. It brushes gently against rooftops, trees, and the riverbank. Its touch is light, carrying the scent of warm earth, water, and ripening crops. The sound is faint and soothing, a quiet accompaniment to the work of the day. Animals move in small, careful motions. Birds shift slowly through the trees, calling quietly. Small creatures scuttle softly across the grass, returning to hidden places as the sun climbs higher. Their movements are deliberate, cautious, and gentle, part of the larger rhythm of life that carries the village forward. The sun continues to spread warmth evenly, illuminating surfaces softly, revealing textures of clay walls, woven baskets, the ripples of water, and the green tips of crops in the fields. Light moves gradually across the landscape, shifting shadows imperceptibly as it travels.
The heat rises gently from the earth, comforting rather than pressing, carrying the faint, comforting scent of soil and sun-warmed vegetation. Time in this place is measured not by hours or minutes, but by the slow, continuous rhythms of life, the river moving steadily, the wind drifting softly, the sun rising higher, and the gentle motion of people, animals, and plants. Each moment flows naturally into the next, unhurried and unbroken. Even the smallest sounds, the soft scraping of a tool on clay, the faint shift of a foot on dirt, the whisper of cloth moving, merge seamlessly into the calm cadence of the day. Nothing startles, nothing demands attention. Every motion, every breath, every ripple is part of a quiet, ongoing harmony. The village, the river, and the fields continue to exist together in calm, steady balance. Each element supports the others, creating a soft, continuous rhythm that stretches from sunrise toward midday and beyond. The river flows. The fields grow. The village moves gently. Time stretches quietly, endlessly, calmly. Everything exists together in steady, slow harmony, the same, unhurried, peaceful, eternal. And the rhythm of life carries on, soft, measured, and comforting, flowing gently into the long afternoon ahead.
The sun has climbed past its highest point, settling into the gentle arc of the afternoon. Its warmth still touches the earth, but it is softer now, less pressing than at midday. The light moves lazily across the fields, the river, and the village, stretching shadows in long, soft patterns that shift imperceptibly as time passes. The river continues its quiet journey. Water slides over stones, brushes reeds along the banks, and carries with it the faint glimmer of sunlight. Ripples form slowly and fade just as gently, a constant, unobtrusive rhythm that underpins the stillness of the day. Occasionally, a small bird dips to the surface, touching the water lightly before lifting again into the calm air. Each sound is faint, delicate, and blended seamlessly into the quiet of the afternoon. The village moves with soft, measured motions. People tend to tasks that require patience and calm. A woman kneels by a low fire, turning bread slowly, its warmth rising gently in the cooling air. The smell of baked grain mingles with the faint scent of wet soil and river water, creating a subtle comfort that spreads quietly through the village. Men continue their work in the fields, moving with deliberate rhythm. Their hands brush the tops of crops, adjusting irrigation channels, pressing seeds into the soil. Every motion is careful, practiced, and unhurried. The work is repetitive, simple, but steady, a meditation in motion, blending with the soft hum of water, the wind in the trees, and the distant calls of birds. Children wander along the village paths, stepping lightly and moving slowly. Their curiosity is quiet, expressed in small touches, a stone turned over, a reed examined, a bird watched for a moment before moving on. Their voices are low, whispers that drift across the air, blending with the hum of river and wind. The wind drifts softly through the village, carrying the faint smell of water, earth, and ripening crops. It rustles leaves, brushes against reeds, and moves across rooftops in a continuous, gentle rhythm. Its touch is soft, like a hand gliding lightly across the skin of the land. Animals move quietly in the late afternoon. Birds shift gently from branch to branch, calling softly. Small creatures scuttle through the undergrowth, returning to hidden spaces. Their motions are careful, part of the slow, ongoing rhythm that holds the village together in calm, steady motion.
The sun begins to lean toward the horizon, changing the light to warmer, more golden tones. Shadows stretch long across paths and fields, softening edges and blending with the gentle colors of earth and water. The warmth of the sun rests lightly on skin and soil, comforting, steady, and constant. Even the smallest details, the soft scraping of a tool, the gentle brushing of hands over grain, the faint rustle of cloth, merge into the calm, continuous cadence of the afternoon. Nothing is urgent, nothing demands attention. Every sound, every motion, every ripple of river and wind is part of a seamless, comforting flow. Time continues softly. The river flows. The fields remain steady. The village moves gently. The sun moves slowly across the sky, marking the passage of hours in subtle, unhurried shifts of light and shadow. All elements, river, fields, village, people, wind, and earth, exist together in quiet, steady harmony. The rhythm of life unfolds, slow and peaceful, carrying the day softly toward evening. The river flows. The fields sway gently. The village moves without rush. And time continues, calm, measured, and unbroken, the same, slow, and comforting as ever.
The sun leans lower in the sky now, its warmth gentler, softening everything it touches. Light spreads across the river, fields, and village in long, golden streaks, brushing over the clay walls of homes, the tops of reeds, and the slow-moving water. Shadows lengthen softly, folding over pathways and walls, merging with the earth in quiet, unhurried shapes. The river continues its calm journey. Its surface shimmers faintly in the golden light, ripples gliding smoothly over stones and along the banks. Occasionally, a small bird skims the water, touching it lightly before lifting again. The sound of water brushing reeds and mud is faint, rhythmic, and constant, blending with the subtle noises of the late afternoon. In the village, work slows. Women move gently through their tasks, arranging pots and baskets, tending small fires, or gathering water from the river. Their movements are deliberate and rhythmic, each motion flowing into the next. Each motion fits naturally into the rhythm of the day, blending with the hum of the river and the rustle of the wind through trees and reeds. Children wander slowly along paths between homes and fields. They examine stones, feathers, and small bits of clay, pausing carefully before continuing. Their voices are low, soft, blending with the gentle sounds of nature and the village. Each step, each small motion contributes to the quiet rhythm of life that surrounds them. The wind drifts lazily through the village and fields. It brushes against rooftops, trees, and the riverbank with a soft, steady motion. Its touch carries the sense of damp earth, water, and ripening crops. It moves gently, brushing lightly across skin and cloth, blending with the quiet hum of water and the soft movements of people and animals. Animals settle into the slower rhythm of late afternoon. Birds shift carefully among the branches, calling quietly. Small creatures scuttle softly through the grass, finding shelter for the night. Their movements are deliberate, careful, blending into the continuous, gentle flow of the day. The sun lowers further, casting the land in deeper golden and amber hues. Shadows stretch long and blend softly, warming the earth without urgency. Light touches everything gently: rooftops, riverbanks, crops, pathways, and the small hands and faces of people working quietly. The warmth is comforting, steady, and soft, like a hand resting lightly on the land itself. Even the smallest details, the faint scraping of tools, the soft brushing of hands over grain, the gentle swish of cloth become part of the calming cadence of late afternoon. Nothing presses, nothing intrudes. Every motion, every sound, every breath merges seamlessly into the quiet, unbroken rhythm of life. Time flows softly, unhurried. The river moves. The fields sway gently. The village continues quietly. The wind drifts. Shadows stretch and soften, and the day carries forward in calm, steady rhythm, gently folding toward evening without hurry, without pause, without interruption. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, and earth, exist together in harmonious, quiet balance. The rhythm of life continues, soft, measured, unbroken, and endlessly comforting. The river flows, the village rests in motion, and the world moves slowly, endlessly, peacefully, the same.
The sun continues its slow descent, leaning toward the horizon with a gentle, deliberate motion. Its light softens into a deeper gold, brushing across the river, fields, and village with a warmth that is comforting rather than pressing. Shadows stretch long, folding over pathways, walls, and fields, merging seamlessly with the earth in quiet, unhurried shapes. The river flows with the same steady rhythm, reflecting the changing colors of the sky. Ripples glide across the surface, brushing against reeds and stones, carrying faint glimmers of sunlight in their wake. Occasionally, a small bird dips into the water for a drink, leaving tiny circles that ripple outward and fade gently, absorbed by the current. The soft, constant murmur of water becomes a steady backdrop to the evening's slow unfolding. In the village, the pace of life softens further. Women move gently, tending small fires, arranging baskets, or drawing water in clay vessels. Their movements are calm and familiar, each flowing naturally into the next. The faint smells of bread, cooking grain, and river water mingle softly in the cooling air, creating a soothing, steady presence. Men finish work in the fields, guiding water over crops and checking channels with quiet attention. Their movements are deliberate and unhurried, each action blending into the rhythm of the day. The fields are quiet now, save for the occasional soft brush of hands over plants or the slow movement of a foot along the earth. Children wander quietly through paths and along the riverbank, their steps soft, careful, unhurried. They notice small things, the curve of a reed, a smooth pebble, the shadow of a bird overhead, but their motions remain slow, gentle, absorbed in the calm of the evening. Their whispers drift lightly through the air, part of the unbroken cadence of the village. The wind drifts gently through the reeds and trees, brushing leaves and cloth with soft motion. It carries the earthy scent of soil, river, and ripening grain, moving quietly across rooftops and fields. Its rhythm is calm, continuous, a gentle presence that flows in harmony with the land, water, and people. Birds settle in the trees, their movements slow and deliberate. Their calls are soft, distant, blending into the quiet murmur of river and wind. Small creatures move carefully through grass and undergrowth, returning to shelter for the night. Each motion is absorbed into the ongoing rhythm of the evening, contributing to the calm, steady flow of life. The sun dips lower, turning the sky into gentle shades of amber, rose, and soft violet. Light brushes the tops of reeds, the river's surface, rooftops, and fields, illuminating everything in soft, delicate hues. Shadows stretch longer, blending into the golden light,
folding the village and landscape into a calm, steady embrace. Even the smallest details, the faint scraping of a tool, the gentle brushing of hands over grain, the soft rustle of cloth, merge seamlessly into the quiet cadence of twilight. Nothing interrupts, nothing intrudes. Every motion, every breath, every sound becomes part of the soft, continuous rhythm of the evening. Time stretches quietly, unhurried. The river flows. The fields sway softly. The village moves gently. The wind drifts. The sun lowers and shadows lengthen. The world carries forward in calm, steady rhythm, folding slowly toward night without urgency or interruption. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, and earth, exist together in harmonious, quiet balance. The rhythm of life continues, soft, measured, unbroken, endlessly comforting. The river flows. The village rests in motion, and the world moves slowly, endlessly, peacefully, the same.
The sun now slips slowly behind the distant horizon, leaving a soft glow in the sky. Hues of pale gold, muted rose, and gentle violet stretch across the heavens, blending seamlessly with the deepening blue above. Shadows lengthen quietly, folding over walls, rooftops, and fields, softening everything they touch into calm, unhurried shapes. The river flows steadily, its surface catching the last traces of sunlight. Ripples slide across stones and reeds, carrying faint glimmers of gold that dance briefly before fading into the gentle murmur of water. The sound is constant and soothing, a quiet rhythm that forms the backdrop for the slowing activity of the village. In the village, life winds down. Women move softly through homes, tending small fires or arranging baskets. The faint aroma of cooked grain mingles with the cooling air, rising slowly to meet the soft hues of evening. Each movement is deliberate, flowing naturally into the next, like a continuous, measured dance that requires no hurry. Men finish work in the fields, their hands brushing over plants as they move slowly toward home. Every motion is calm and familiar, a repetition of countless evenings past. The fields grow quiet as tools are set aside, water channels settle, and the earth itself seems to inhale in relief after a long day. Children wander briefly before returning to their homes. Their steps are soft, careful, deliberate. They notice small details along the way, the turve of a stone, the gentle sway of reeds, the distant call of a bird settling for the night. But each observation is slow, unhurried, absorbed in the calm of evening. Their voices are whispers, blending seamlessly into the quiet hum of river, wind, and village. The wind drifts lazily across the river and fields. Its touch is light, brushing against rooftops, trees, and the soft earth. It carries the subtle scent of wet soil, river, and fading warmth from the day. Its sound is soft, steady, almost imperceptible, blending with the quiet movement of water and the gentle motions of people and animals. Birds settle into trees, wings folded, calls fading into soft murmurs. Small animals retreat to hidden spaces, moving carefully through grass and undergrowth. Every creature participates in the slow, steady rhythm of the evening, blending seamlessly into the gentle cadence of life. The sky deepens into soft twilight. The last glow of the sun lingers on the horizon, painting clouds in delicate shades of rose, lavender, and gold. Shadows merge with the colors of the sky, softening edges, blurring shapes,
and wrapping the village in a gentle, quiet embrace. Even the smallest details, the faint scraping of a tool, the soft brushing of hands over grain, the low flicker of firelight, become part of the continuous, unbroken rhythm of evening. Nothing is urgent, nothing intrudes. Every sound, every movement, every breath contributes to the calm, measured flow of life. Time unfolds softly, without pressing or demand. The river flows. The fields sway gently. The village moves with quiet deliberation. The wind drifts. Shadows stretch, blending with the fading light. And the world continues forward, soft, slow, unhurried, the same steady rhythm that has existed for countless generations. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, and sky, exists together in harmonious, gentle balance. The rhythm of life carries on, soft, measured, unbroken, endlessly comforting. The river flows, the village rests in motion, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same.
The sun has now fully disappeared behind the horizon. The sky deepens into gentle shades of indigo, violet, and soft midnight blue. Twilight fades gradually, leaving only the faint glow of lingering light along the far edges of the horizon. The first stars begin to appear, tiny points of steady illumination that shimmer softly above the river, the fields, and the village. The river reflects the deepening sky, its surface now a soft, dark mirror. Ripples glide slowly over stones and reeds, catching the faint light of stars and the lingering twilight. Each ripple moves with gentle, unbroken rhythm, touching the banks and fading quietly, as if the water itself is sighing softly in the calm of evening. The village settles further into quiet. Fires flicker low in the homes, sending warm orange glows across clay walls and earthen floors. Smoke rises slowly, curling lazily into the night air, carrying faint, comforting sense of cooking, wood, and warm clay. Every movement is slow, deliberate, absorbed into the gentle rhythm of nightfall. Women move softly around their homes, tending small tasks by the firelight. They stir pots, adjust blankets, or arrange small objects with care, each motion deliberate and unhurried. The sounds are faint, a soft scrape of clay, the whisper of fabric, the gentle clink of a tool. Each sound blends seamlessly with the evening calm. Men finish their final tasks in the fields, returning slowly to the village. Their steps are measured, deliberate, each one carrying the quiet weight of the day behind it. Tools are set aside, irrigation channels settle. The earth itself seems to exhale, releasing the warmth of the day and welcoming the cool embrace of night. Children move quietly toward their homes, small shadows drifting along familiar paths. Their steps are soft and careful, eyes occasionally lifting to the first bright stars above. Whispers fade into the steady murmur of river, wind, and night. The wind drifts slightly across rooftops, fields, and riverbanks. Its touch is gentle, brushing leaves, reeds, and cloth with delicate care. It carries faint scents of water, earth, and cooling crops. Its rhythm is soft and continuous, blending seamlessly with the slow movements of people, animals, and water. Birds roost quietly in trees, wings folded, calls fading into the calm. Small creatures curl in hidden places, breathing softly in the cool air. Every motion, every sound, every creature participates in the slow, steady rhythm of nightfall.
The first moon rises, pale and calm, casting soft silver light across the river and fields. Its glow touches rooftops and walls, stones and reeds, illuminating the village with a gentle, steady presence. Shadows lengthen and blend softly, folding the village and landscape into a quiet, restful embrace. Even the smallest details, the low flicker of firelight, the gentle brushing of hands over grain, the soft rustle of fabric or grass, merge into the unbroken rhythm of the night. Nothing is abrupt, nothing demands attention. Every movement, every sound, every breath becomes part of the continuous calming flow of life. Time flows softly, unhurried. The river flows. The fields sway gently in the night air. The village moves quietly, slowly, without rush. The wind drifts. The moonlight rests lightly on the land. And the world carries forward, soft, slow, unbroken, the same steady rhythm that has existed for countless generations. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, sky, and moonlight exist together in calm, gentle harmony. The rhythm of life continues, measured, steady, endless, and comforting. The river flows, the village rests in motion, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same.
The moon rises higher, pale and steady, casting a gentle silver light over the river, fields, and village. Its glow stretches across the landscape, touching reeds, rooftops, and mud paths with quiet illumination. Shadows soften and blend into the cool earth, folding the world into calm, gentle shapes. The river flows endlessly, carrying water with a soft, constant murmur. Ripples move slowly across stones and reeds, catching the moonlight in delicate flashes that fade almost as soon as they appear. The sound is steady, unhurried, a quiet hum beneath the larger stillness of night. Occasionally, a fish breaks the surface gently, leaving soft circles that vanish into the calm water. The village lies mostly quiet. Homes are darkened except for the faint glow of dying fires. Smoke drifts lazily, curling and folding into the night air. The scent of warmth and wood mingles with the cool night breeze, blending into a calm, steady presence. Most people have settled down. Families rest quietly on mats, their breathing soft, even, and steady. Children curl under blankets, small bodies rising and falling in slow rhythm. Adults recline near low fires, resting hands on knees or over their laps, faces softened by gentle shadows. Every movement is minimal, deliberate, and absorbed into the rhythm of the night. The wind drifts slowly through the village, fields, and reeds by the river. It moves softly, brushing leaves, walls, and the cool soil. Its gentle, unbroken rhythm blends seamlessly with the sounds of flowing water and sleeping village life. Nocturnal creatures stir quietly. Small animals move carefully through grass and undergrowth, rustling softly as they hunt or seek shelter. Owls or other birds glide silently above, their movements measured and gentle, blending into the calm night. Each motion adds subtly to the larger, soothing cadence of the darkened landscape. The moon continues its slow passage, climbing higher in the sky. Its light casts a soft, steady illumination across the river, fields, and village, smoothing edges and merging forms into calm, gentle contours. Shadows stretch and fold without urgency, embracing the land in steady quiet. Even the smallest details, the faint creak of a roof beam, the soft rustle of grass, the gentle movement of hands or feet, meld into the continuous, unbroken rhythm of deep night. Nothing is abrupt, nothing intrudes. Every sound, every motion, every breath flows naturally into the steady, peaceful cadence of the world. Time moves softly, unhurried, measured not in minutes, but in the continuous patterns of life. The river flowing, the wind drifting, the moon rising, the village sleeping, and the earth itself breathing gently under the stars. The river flows, the fields rest, the village sleeps in motion. The wind drifts, the moonlight bathes the earth softly, and the world continues forward, slow, gentle, unbroken, the same comforting rhythm that has existed for countless nights. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, sky, and moonlight, exist together in serene, harmonious balance. The rhythm of life carries on, soft, steady, and endless. The river flows, the village rests in motion, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same.
The village rests fully now. The fires have dwindled to faint embers, glowing softly in homes and casting barely their light on walls and floors. Smoke drifts upward in slow, curling wisps, carrying the subtle scent of warmth and cooked grain, mingling with the cooler night air. Each breath of smoke rises calmly, dissolving gently into the deepening dark. The river flows endlessly, reflecting faint starlight and the pale glow of the moon. Its surface moves softly, ripples sliding over stones and reeds, creating delicate patterns that fade almost as soon as they appear. The gentle murmur of water is steady and constant, the perfect undercurrent to the stillness of the sleeping village. Occasionally, a fish breaks the surface lightly, leaving small circular ripples that vanish quietly. In the fields, the tall crops sway softly in the night breeze, moving with measured, unhurried rhythm. Their motion is barely audible, a faint rustle of leaves and stems that blends with the low hum of the river and the soft whisper of wind. Shadows from the moon stretch across the earth, folding the landscape into shapes that are soft, calm, and restful. People sleep quietly. Children are curled beneath blankets, bodies rising and falling in gentle, even rhythm. Adults recline on mats, faces softened by firelight shadows, breathing slow and steady. Occasionally, a soft sigh escapes a sleeper, absorbed instantly by the surrounding calm. Every motion is minimal, deliberate, part of the continuous, soothing flow of night. The wind drifts slowly through the village, fields, and along the riverbanks. It brushes leaves, rooftops, and reeds with a soft, gentle touch. Its movement carries the scent of water, earth, and cooling crops. The rhythm of the wind is calm, steady, unbroken, blending seamlessly with the soft sounds of the sleeping village, flowing river, and quiet nocturnal life. Nocturnal creatures move with care. Small animals shift through grass and undergrowth, rustling faintly. Owls glide silently above the fields, their wings moving without hurry. Each sound, each motion, each creature contributes to the soft, steady rhythm of the night, adding subtle texture without interrupting the calm. The moon climbs higher,
casting a pale, even light over rooftops, walls, paths, and water. Shadows deepen, merge, and stretch, creating soft, resting shapes. Light touches the tops of reeds, the flowing water, and distant stone structures with a gentle, unhurried presence. The land itself seems to breathe slowly under the watchful calm of the night sky. Even the smallest details, the faint scrape of a tool set aside for the day, the gentle brushing of hands over grain before sleep, the soft swish of leaves in the wind, meld into the continuous, unbroken rhythm of deep night. Nothing presses, nothing intrudes. Every sound, motion, and breath becomes part of the quiet, soothing cadence of the sleeping world. Time flows without hurry, measured in the slow, steady patterns of life, the river gliding endlessly, the wind drifting gently, the moon climbing across the sky, the village resting, and the earth itself breathing softly in the night. The river flows. The fields sway softly in the moonlight. The village sleeps in calm, gentle motion. The wind drifts lazily. The moonlight rests lightly on rooftops, paths, and reeds, and the world moves forward, slow, soft, unbroken, the same steady rhythm that has existed for countless nights, centuries, generations. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, sky, and moonlight exist together in quiet, harmonious balance. The rhythm of life continues, soft, steady, endless, and comforting. The river flows. The village rests, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same.
The night stretches fully, vast and quiet, holding the village, the river, and the fields in a gentle, steady embrace. The moon hangs high, pale and constant, casting silver light over rooftops, walls, paths, and the slow-moving water. Shadows are long and soft, merging seamlessly with the darkness, wrapping everything in calm stillness. The river flows endlessly, carrying water over stones and past reeds with quiet persistence. Ripples move slowly, brushing the banks and fading gently, creating a soft, continuous murmur. Occasionally, a fish disturbs the surface lightly, leaving tiny, delicate ripples that dissolve into the steady motion of water. The sound is faint and soothing, a constant companion to the deep quiet of night. The village lies completely still. Fires are reduced to tiny embers, glowing faintly before fading into darkness. Smoke curls slowly upward, carrying the faint, comforting sense of warm clay and cooked grain. Every movement is minimal, deliberate, absorbed into the long, unhurried rhythm of night. People sleep deeply. Children curl under blankets, breathing slow and even. Adults rest quietly on mats, faces softened by the dim glow of fading embers or moonlight. Every movement is subtle, each breath flowing naturally into the stillness. Occasionally, a soft sigh, barely audible, passes through the quiet, immediately absorbed by the surrounding calm. The wind drifts gently across rooftops, trees, and riverbanks. It brushes leaves, reeds, and the earth with a soft, steady motion, carrying faint scents of river water, cooling crops, and wet soil. Its sound is barely noticeable, a faint, continuous whisper that blends seamlessly with the quiet flow of the river and the sleeping village. Nocturnal creatures move carefully through the grass and undergrowth. Small animals rustle softly as they search for shelter. Birds roost quietly in trees, wings folded, calls fading into the calm. Each movement, each sound, Each creature contributes subtly to the continuous, unbroken rhythm of the night, adding texture without interrupting the deep stillness. The moon climbs higher, illuminating the river and fields in pale, even light. Shadows stretch and blend, folding rooftops, walls, paths, and earth into shapes that are soft, restful, and calm. The land itself seems to breathe slowly, a quiet, deliberate rhythm that carries everything forward in gentle, unhurried motion. Even the smallest details, the faint creak of a roof beam, the soft brushing of hands over grain, the swish of grass in the wind, meld into the soothing cadence of deep night. Nothing intrudes, nothing demands attention. Every sound, every motion, every breath flows naturally into the gentle, continuous rhythm of the world. Time stretches endlessly, soft and unhurried, measured by the slow, steady patterns of life. The river flowing, the wind drifting, the moon climbing across the sky, the village sleeping, and the earth breathing quietly under the stars. The river flows. The fields sway softly in the night air. The village rests in gentle, calm motion. The wind drifts slowly. The moonlight bathes rooftops, river, and fields in quiet silver. And the world continues forward, slow, soft, unbroken, the same comforting rhythm that has existed for countless nights, for generations, for centuries. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, sky, and moonlight exist together in calm, harmonious balance. The rhythm of life carries on, soft, steady, endless, and comforting. The river flows, the village rests, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same.
The night lingers, deep and calm, but at the very edges of the horizon, faint light begins to stir. A soft, muted glow appears, stretching slowly across the far distance, brushing the tops of reeds, riverbanks, and rooftops with pale, gentle colors. The sky shifts imperceptibly from deep indigo to softer shades of blue, faint lavender, and the palest hint of rose. The river continues its steady flow, carrying water gently over stones and past reeds. Ripples glide smoothly, catching the earliest light in delicate, fleeting glimmers before fading quietly into the calm of night. The water hums softly, a steady, soothing murmur beneath the slow awakening of the land. The village remains mostly still. Fires that burn through the night have faded completely, leaving only faint traces of smoke rising lazily, dissolving into the early morning air. The scent of earth, river, and cooling crops mingles gently, forming a quiet perfume that marks the approaching day. People begin to stir very slowly. Children shift beneath blankets, stretching limbs gently before returning to stillness. Adults lift their heads or adjust sleeping mats with deliberate, careful motions. Every movement is soft, unhurried, absorbed into the slow rhythm of early morning. The sounds are faint, a whisper of cloth, a soft sigh, the quiet movement of a hand across the earth. The wind drifts lightly through rooftops, fields, and along the river. Its touch is soft and steady, brushing reeds, leaves, and walls. It carries the subtle scent of water and earth, blending seamlessly with the faintest hint of warmth from the day yet to come. The rhythm of the wind is calm, continuous, part of the slow, gentle awakening of the village. Birds begin to stir quietly. Their calls are soft, distant, almost like a murmur rather than song.
They move among trees and reeds with careful, deliberate steps, their wings brushing lightly against the air. Small animals emerge from hidden shelters, scuttling softly through grass and undergrowth. Each motion is careful, deliberate, contributing subtly to the gentle, unhurried rhythm of the morning. The moon lingers pale and calm in the sky, its light gradually softening as the first traces of dawn spread across the land. Shadows merge with the early glow, stretching long and gentle, softening walls, rooftops, and pathways into shapes that are restful and calm. Even the smallest details, the faint brushing of hands over grain, the soft clink of a tool moved gently, the swish of leaves in the morning breeze, meld into the quiet cadence of the slow, waking world. Nothing presses, nothing demands attention. Every sound, motion, and breath flows naturally into the continuous, calming rhythm of early day. Time unfolds gently, unhurried, measured by the steady patterns of life, the river flowing, the fields swaying gently in the faint morning breeze. The village begins to awaken slowly, softly, without hurry. The wind drifts. The first light rests lightly on rooftops, river, and fields, and the world moves forward, slow, calm, unbroken, the same gentle rhythm that has existed for countless nights and mornings. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, sky, moonlight, and first light exist together in serene, harmonious balance. The rhythm of life continues, soft, steady, endless, and comforting. The river flows. The village stirs in gentle motion, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same.
The horizon lightens slowly, a soft, pale gold brushing the tops of reeds, the river, and the village rooftops. The sky transitions gradually from deep indigo to muted blues, soft lavenders, and the faintest pinks, stretching gently across the heavens. The colors move almost imperceptibly, blending seamlessly, soothingly, without urgency. The river flows quietly, catching the first hints of sunlight. Tiny ripples glide over stones and reeds, reflecting the pale gold and delicate patterns that fade almost as soon as they appear. The water hums softly, steady and continuous, a gentle melody beneath the slow stirring of the land. The village begins to move with subtle, deliberate motions. Children stretch beneath blankets, blinking into the soft light of morning. Adults shift on mats, lifting heads or rising carefully to begin the slow morning routines. Every motion is calm, unhurried, absorbed naturally into the rhythm of waking life. The faint sounds of fabric brushing, hands moving across earth, and quiet sighs merge seamlessly with the murmur of river and wind. Women move gently through their homes, arranging baskets, tending small fires, or drawing water from the river. The soft smell of earth, grain, and faint smoke rises in the cool air, blending with the first warmth of the sun. Their motions are deliberate, rhythmic, and unhurried, each action flowing into the next with a quiet continuity that mirrors the rising day. Men walk slowly toward the fields, their feet pressing softly into the soil. They move with careful attention, checking channels, guiding water, adjusting irrigation. Every motion is familiar, deliberate, steady. The fields sway gently as the wind drifts over crops, brushing leaves softly and carrying faint scents of earth and moisture. The world hums quietly, measured in these simple, repeated movements. Birds begin to call softly, their songs delicate and low, blending with the gentle murmur of the river and the quiet stirring of the village. Small animals emerge from hidden places, moving cautiously through the grass and undergrowth. Each sound, each movement, each small creature contributes subtly to the rhythm of morning, part of the unbroken, soothing flow of life. The sun climbs higher, spreading warm light across rooftops, fields, and riverbanks. Its golden glow touches earth and water, casting soft, elongated shadows that stretch lazily across walls, paths, and reeds. Light moves slowly, brushing each surface with quiet warmth, illuminating the village with a gentle, steady presence. Even the smallest details, the soft clink of a pot set on the fire, the quiet brushing of hands over grain, the faint swish of cloth or leaves, become part of the continuous cadence of morning. Nothing presses, nothing interrupts. Every sound, every motion, every breath blends naturally into the calm, measured rhythm of the slowly waking world. Time unfolds gently, measured in patterns of river, wind, sunlight, and movement. The river gliding, the wind drifting, the sun climbing, the village stirring, the fields responding, and the earth itself breathing steadily in the morning light. The river flows. The fields sway gently in the morning breeze. The village moves slowly, softly, deliberately. The wind drifts. Sunlight rests lightly on rooftops, river, and fields. And the world carries forward, calm, slow, unbroken, the same gentle rhythm that has existed for countless nights and mornings. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth, sky, and sunlight, exist together in serene, harmonious balance. The rhythm of life continues, soft, steady, endless, and comforting. The river flows. The village awakens in gentle motion, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly. The same. The morning unfolds slowly, and yet, in its quiet, measured pace, the world seems complete. The sun rises higher, spreading gentle warmth across the river, fields, and village. Golden light touches rooftops, walls, and paths, illuminating reeds, stones, and flowing water with a calm radiance. Shadows retreat softly, melting into the earth, leaving everything bathed in quiet, even light. The river flows steadily, carrying water with the same gentle persistence as always. Ripples glide over stones and reeds, shimmering softly in the sunlight before fading quietly into the calm. Its sound is constant, soothing, the steady heartbeat of the land. The village continues its gentle rhythm. Children wander quietly, stretching and moving softly through familiar paths. Adults carry out their routines in measured, unhurried motions, drawing water, tending crops, arranging small tasks, each gesture deliberate, calm, absorbed naturally into the pattern of life. Birds call softly among the trees, their notes delicate and rhythmic, blending seamlessly with the murmuring river and the faint rustle of leaves. Small animals move carefully through the grass, their presence quiet, gentle, absorbed into the larger rhythm of the land. Every creature, every movement, every sound contributes to the endless, comforting flow of the world. The wind drifts lazily across rooftops, fields, and riverbanks, carrying the faint scent of earth, water, and grain. Its touch is soft, steady, unbroken, brushing leaves, reeds, and rooftops with quiet care. It moves in harmony with the world, a constant, invisible companion, in the slow unfolding of life. Time stretches gently, unhurried, measured by the patterns of river, wind, sunlight, and motion, the water flowing, the field swaying, the sun climbing, the village moving softly, and the earth breathing quietly in steady rhythm. And now, as the day settles into its calm, measured rhythm, everything exists together in quiet, harmonious balance. The river flows, the fields sway, the village moves in gentle, deliberate motion, the wind drifts softly, sunlight rests lightly on rooftops, water, and earth, and the world continues, slow, peaceful, unbroken. Everything, river, fields, village, people, animals, wind, earth and sky and sunlight exist together in serene, eternal harmony. The rhythm of life carries on, soft, steady, endless, and comforting. The river flows, the village rests in motion, and the world moves slowly, peacefully, endlessly, the same. It is calm, it is quiet, it is complete. The land, the river, the people, and the sky exist together, as they always have, in gentle, unhurried balance. And in this quiet, steady harmony, you can rest, your mind following the slow flow of the river, the sway of the fields, and the gentle rhythm of life itself. The world moves on, softly, slowly, endlessly. And here, in the peace of ancient Egypt, everything fades into calm.